So we got to open today's episode by talking about the elephant in the room. Donovan, what has Aaron Nesmith done to you in your life? What has Tyrese Halliburton done to you? How has he impacted you in your day-to-day?
Man, first of all, let's get something out the way, right? Last night was awful. Last night sucked, man. Bro, last night was actually insane because we left, right? We went to a Knicks bar. We watched everything. Also, seeing this picture, my eyes look as big as they've ever looked.
Look like you've seen a demon in human form.
They look as big as they ever look. Afterwards, right? Isaac had posted a picture of me. I had left. I went to the train station. I was taking the train home. And normally, if I'm on the train or if I'm anywhere, I'll put headphones in. I sat on the train in straight silence. I walked home, straight silence. No headphones, nothing.
Nothing but straight torment in your thoughts.
I got home. Opened the door, didn't even say hi to Penny. I went straight to the couch. I sat down like this for like 20 minutes. Straight silence, nothing. I could not believe what happened. And listen, there's a lot of things that I need that I have to talk about. So please indulge me for a second.
Okay.
Isaac, I'm not going to lie. For all you guys who haven't been tapped into our Twitter, if you go onto your feed and see what Isaac's been posting, you will know and find out what I've been to. Isaac, you're a sick motherfucker. But you're my type of sick. I appreciate what you were able to show all of us because I wasn't able to go last night, but I felt like I was there with you.
Felt like you were there.
We got Donovan's live reaction. So obviously you guys are watching this on Friday when it comes out. We're recording this on Thursday, the day after game 1 of Knicks versus Pacers, where the Knicks choked in hilarious fashion.
Yes.
We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the first 2 games of OKC versus Minnesota. And as you guys see by the title, after that, the main part of this episode, we're going to talk about the winners and losers of the playoffs overall. So perhaps that will have something to do with the conference finals, but we'll also zoom out, talk about the playoff experience at large, who came away better for it, player-wise, team-wise, coach-wise, whatever it may mean to you guys. We're going to get into all of that. Whew. Yeah, man. Cue the intro music. Let's let Donovan get some shit off his chest.
I just burped and it was the most disgusting, gut-wrenching smell ever.
I haven't played the intro music yet.
I know.
There we go. Play it now.
The cranium is crazy. Oh my god.
I mean, I really don't know what to say.
Crayon eaters, rejoice.
All right, Donovan, tell us what is going through your mind 12 hours after Aaron Nesmith put on the greatest shot-making performance I have ever goddamn seen in the fourth quarter of a game to snatch your soul out your body.
Okay, again, a couple things. First things, shout out to Pierre. I listened to his pod this morning, right? I was just trying to get any Knicks content, right? Anything from a Knicks fan that I could get. And he was actually mad calm about it. And his calm, I needed that calm. So shout out to Pierre, shout out to, TWolves podcast, everything. He said one thing though, where he was like, it was good basketball. I'm not a salty fan. I disagree with that. I am salty as hell today. I'm so salty. That's one. 2, I'm announcing today for the rest of the playoffs, you and I will never watch a Knicks basketball game again. We're not watching a game. We started the season. We were in the car watching a Knicks game. You recorded me in my trouble and in my trying time. Last night, I was like, yo, me and the homies, let's go out. Let's watch this game together and let's see what happens. And Isaac keeps saying, I need you guys to understand, he's lying to your face because he keeps saying, I want the Knicks to win. Like, it'll be fun. After the second Nesmith 3, I look over and I'm starting to look around and Isaac's like, oh, this is crazy.
He's just getting so jolly.
He's like, oh, this is going to be so good. And I was like, I told him afterwards, top 3 most mad I've ever been.
So I want the Knicks to win because I want the Thunder to beat the New York Knicks and make their fans upset. I want the clout of that victory to go towards the Thunder when they win the finals. Obviously, I want the Thunder to win. So I want the Knicks to win for selfish reasons. But if you're telling me the Knicks lose and I get to watch you have the worst sports moment of your life, I'm telling you that is going to be equally as exciting to me. That will be just as
I'm
fun.
telling you, you're never getting the opportunity again. That's never happening. That was 2. 3, while last night was wildly disappointing and wildly crazy, right? Afterwards, you see the stat was like 970 teams have been in that position before and nobody had ever choked a lead like that. It is something that is also very predictable Because on Tuesday, when we were predicting the series, and I was like, yeah, Knicks in 5, but really Knicks in 6 because they are going to be unserious in a moment. And if you watch them throughout this playoff run, they've been walked down. They've been unserious. They haven't capitalized on opportunities before. And so last night, while it happens in the absolute worst way possible, this game and that like moment is something where if you told me, hey, the Knicks are going to have a 16-point lead and they're going to blow it in one of the games, I would have believed you, right? There, at the bar, there was somebody, as the Knicks were taking control of the game, there was somebody behind us that was like, he was talking to somebody else, and he was like, oh, like, we're going to get it done. And he's like, no, like, I'm not going to feel good about the game unless we're up 20 with 5 minutes to go.
God damn.
I'm telling you, I'm not going to feel good for the rest of the playoffs unless we're up 20 with 2 minutes to go. That's the amount. But the Knicks throughout this year have been able to be walked down plenty of times. If you look across the year, they've had big leads on Cleveland, on OKC. They've choked those away. They've had games against like Chicago and even Brooklyn and had those leads wither away because they get into stretches where you see multiple defensive miscommunications. You see times where they are playing with their food. You see times where offensively they look so stagnant. And if Jalen isn't doing anything, or if OG's having a weird night, which last night was one of the worst offensive performances that I've seen from OG in a while.
Yep.
And so all of that's going out of the 8. Yeah, out of like the 8-ish playoff teams. I'm not talking about like playing, but if you look for the season, the only playoff team to blow more 10-point leads is the Orlando Magic. After them, it's the Knicks. If you go to just overall like fourth quarter leads, the Knicks don't really do that. But even then, it's still a lot of like bad teams are the ones that are blowing fourth quarter leads. And then you get to the bottom, it's like, okay, the Knicks are one of these playoff teams that you can walk down. And Aaron Nesmith, damn him. Damn him. Because he walked us down. And after the second three, it's like noticing, right? Yeah. The third 3 goes in and you're sitting there and you're like, nah. Right? Like, nah. And then he hits the fourth one and I'm just sitting there. And I don't think I said anything for like the last 20 minutes of the game.
You were silent. You were
right.
He froze.
I think I said anything. After the fourth one, in my mind, I'm like, somebody has to punch him in his face. Because you're clearly not going to stop him playing actual defense. They let him walk into every single one of those threes. He was wide open. There is nobody there in front of him contesting. Josh Hart fell on a 3. On the last one, Josh Hart fell and Nesmith was able to come off and get a wide open 3. And so you're just sitting there like, I can't believe that I'm witnessing the Aaron Nesmith game out of all games. Given the stakes, this is the craziest thing that has happened. And so we're sitting there, everything's happening. And then the Halliburton 3 at the end where
crazy.
Tyrese Halliburton, you are on my hate watch list. For the rest of 2025, we have sat up here and given him all the praise. You guys can continue doing that for the rest of the season. I'm not. I hate this dude so much. He ruined my night. He's about to ruin my summer. I can't stand it because the three was in itself. You see so many times Halliburton, and this is where his game has grown exponentially. He was finishing tough layups. Mm-hmm. He was getting downhill. He was scoring at will. He was taking advantage of everything that the Knicks were doing. All of that. His passes, no look. He's bending the defense every which way, and he's in control. And then out of all of this, to have the WWE mindset of having the script written where it's like, yeah, I'm gonna hit this 3 and then immediately I'm gonna do the choke sign. All of that was planned. He is a true villain. He has stepped up, and in every playoff series, I have found somebody to hate because that's just how the playoffs goes. Tyrese Halliburton, I hate you. This series, I hate you, and I can't stand you right now. Yeah,
oh my
man.
God.
That was awful.
What a rant.
That was awful.
Top 10 rant.
That was like 10 minutes. He just went. Shout out that. Yeah, man. Here's the game chart. The Knicks had a 17-point lead Wow.
We survived. They didn't miss their first 9 shots. And they start the game and you think like, oh wow, this is gonna be like Pacers magnet ball game. They're not gonna miss. I guess it is what it is. And we still leave the first quarter with the lead. You go into halftime with the lead. You go into the fourth quarter with the lead, and you feel decent because you've withstood a lot of the punches, a lot of the runs that they've thrown at you. And obviously what happened. So yeah, last night was.
Today's a great day.
It
was awful.
I love life right now. Whenever the Knicks lose, it gets him like this. You have no idea how much I breathe better, I eat better, I see better, I weigh a little less, bro. I lift heavier, I jump higher. I don't know what it is, but it's like plus 10 attribute points everywhere, bro. My hair is looking real voluptuous and nice, and it's all silky. It's like I love life right now. I love life. I hate that it has to come to.
No, you don't. Don't even say that. Don't even lie.
When it comes to you and the New York Knicks and just this is one of the greatest New York Knicks collapses and catastrophes of all time. You guys literally made history.
Nothing in New York has ever collapsed like this.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Anyways, yeah. Fun fact about Aaron Nesmith. Did you guys know that his college?
You think you're funny because of that?
Did you guys know that his his NBA comparison was fucking Klay Thompson? And everyone shunned that to fucking death. He played like Klay Thompson for 14 games of his second year in college. For his second year in college in Vanderbilt. And he shot like 50% from 3, bro. That's instant karma.
I gotta go because Blue's going crazy right now.
Cats up there tweaking.
Yeah, but he shot like 50% from 3 for 14 games in his second year in Vanderbilt. And he got instant Klay Thompson comparisons. That's what everyone was saying. And that was the worst comparison of all time up until that 5-6 minute span of last fucking night.
Yeah, it's ridiculous because if you look at the numbers, like for team shooting, the Pacers as a team shot 40%. The Pacers as a team without Aaron Nesmith shot 25% from 3, and him alone brings them up to 40%. It's one of the greatest like hot shooting moments that we've ever seen in NBA history to end the game 8 of 9. And I mean the Knicks, their free throw issues, which have been an issue, this whole run. Cat has to make one, and even after Cat missed his, I still felt good. And even after OG missed his, I felt okay because with 50 seconds left, it's a 9-point game. And so I was quiet because I'm mentally doing the math like, okay, it's still a 3-possession game. It's still a 2-possession game. Even if we go 1 or 2, it'd still be a 4-possession game. We got to do all this. Honestly, the thing that bothered me maybe the most about all the Nesmith stuff was not only was he hitting the threes, but they were instant. No time was coming off the clock. And so if you're making Aaron Nesmith work 10 seconds to get these threes off, and then you go back and play defense and play the foul game and do all of that, that's cool. The fact that it was immediate, inbound, one action, Nesmith comes off, knocks down the 3, there's 3 seconds off, and you still have to play. The game was just elongated for no reason because of all the defensive lapses. Andrew Nembhard had a layup at the very end of the game. Happens on the Josh Hart back because he gets caught in the middle. And so just like mentally, this team was not all there at the end of the game. And it sucks. And it's wild because you just don't. How many times do you have to go through this for them, right? For them to do this. There's been plenty of times in this run where stuff has happened and they lose the game. They come back. They're like, oh, we got to be better. And then they have a meeting and then they come out with some focus. We're in the conference finals now. And it's not like none of them have been there. Brunson has been to the finals. OG has a chip. Mikal has been to the finals, right? Like Tibbs has coached a team that has won a champion, assistant coach, whatever. Yeah. But all of them have experience. And so for them to be in this position and to have the mental lapses that they've had, it's unacceptable. And so to be down 0-1, I still think that we're going to win the series. I still feel solid, but it's the same concept as why I felt good after game 1 against Boston, which is, yes, if you play game 1 10 times, yeah, the Celtics probably win that 9 out of 10, but it's not this simulation thing. You have 7 opportunities to get 4 games and you gave up 1. And now we're down 1-0. Now you actually have to fight. And now the margin of error is very, very low. So we're here now. And so you just got to go back in game 2 and you got to actually close it out.
I had never in my life have heard you have so much to say about the New York Knicks in my life. That was, wow.
No.
Yeah, man. Listen.
You got to
10 out of 10 performance,
and
man.
we're going to talk about it with the Thunder, but one of the reasons also why the Thunder are like elite in the thing that I was saying about where like the Knicks have blown, the most leads.
Yeah.
The team who has done it the least amount of times is the Thunder.
Yeah.
In terms of blowing fourth quarter leads, blowing any leads, 10-point leads, because the Thunder understand
How to play defense.
Exactly.
when you have a lead and it's time to stomp on somebody's neck, the Thunder will actually grab you by the neck, squeeze it, strangle it, and take your head off. And they're going to completely annihilate you. Whereas the Knicks they have not done that, and they've been susceptible to these things. And so in game 2, if they don't win by 30, right, like I'm going to be nervous the entire game.
I think we need the Knicks to get swept because we're getting
Oh my
generational.
God, that'd be so funny.
right
That'd be
now.
hilarious.
I think we need it to happen.
On the stream, I said this is a series similar to Clippers versus Nuggets that I don't really feel comfortable giving you a prediction at all because I feel like this is going to go 7. It can go either way. Truly, both teams are playing amazing basketball. Both teams are fantastic offensively and don't have the strongest defensive personnel in the world. So we're going to see a lot of crazy games that really come down to who executes at the end. That's precisely what this goddamn was. So I still don't know who's going to win this series. I still think it's going to go 7. If it's shorter, it's because fumbles like this continue to happen.
Yeah.
The interesting part to me was it felt like both teams decided. It almost, watching the first quarter, when you're used to watching a Timberwolves series or a OKC Thunder series, where there's also really smart defensive ideas at play. A lot of really intricate modern ways to defend stars that you see that across the playoffs everywhere. Except for this fucking game. It felt like these coaches met beforehand and were like, hey, we're going to do the most vanilla stuff possible and we're going to score as many points as possible both ways. We're putting on a show. Mm-hmm. Both these teams decided to just defend with deep drop coverage against each other. They both have stretch bigs and both have dynamic point guards. One of the worst ways to stop those guys is to run a deep drop and let them pick and pop you all day, let the guard get to their spots. Both teams ran a vanilla-ass defense. We saw the Celtics have success putting a wing on Cat. Really, every team has done that. Not even the Celtics. That's a common thing you do. You put a big wing on Cat. So if they try to run a pick and roll, you switch it, put that big wing on Jalen Brunson. We kind of talked about how the Pacers should probably do that, and the Knicks should probably do that to Miles Turner, or else he's going to pick and pop you to death like he did against the Cavs. Neither team did that. They both defended their centers with each other, ran a deep drop. Such an uninspired, like just defensive like scheme for both teams, and it led to a shootout. I think the big thing going with the game 2 is which team is going to try something interesting first.
Yeah, I agree with that. Talking about our stream, or touching back on our stream, TD3 Tuesdays, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Central Time, tap the fuck in. One of the things that I touched on was how I felt like this series is going to be amazing for Karl-Anthony Towns, offensively at least, and I think he had like 35 last night or something of that sort, and how he specifically gives Miles Turner issues, and I talked about Miles Turner specifically. I felt like he was going to have issues throughout the entire series because Cat is just not a good matchup whatsoever, and he historically gets fried. And speaking about fried, defensively as well, going back to what you said, like every time he is terrible at guarding these screens. He's just not built for this type of offense that the Knicks have right now, specifically whenever Cat's on the floor as well. And I think because of that as well, he barely touched the ground in the second half of the game. And I think he only played maybe 90, 70 seconds in overtime. And so the Pacers finding out a way to win with one of the more important, probably like the third, fourth most important starter on their team, just being a zero to non-factor pretty much, is wildly impressive.
I thought that was stupid. He had a great start to the game, and they bailed on him way too fast because, like you said, Cat was scoring well. Miles Turner fried them the first quarter. We saw that game chart when the Pacers were up big. They made their first 8 shots, I think Donovan said. Miles Turner was frying Cat on the pick and pop. So I think that's something that Rick Carlisle probably regrets. That's probably why they went down so big in the third quarter, is they really went away from him and benched him. Weird decision. I think you probably see Miles Turner play most of the second half in a regular fashion going to game 2.
Yeah, you have to put Cat in conflict, and that's the number one thing, because even with Brunson and Cat out there, there's easier ways to hide Brunson, to where Cat, not only can you get him in space and score on him, but you can also get him into foul trouble. And I don't know. The last couple games, Brunson has kind of been in foul trouble a little bit. And last night he got in there. And that's why you saw at the end, there were a couple drives that he just had to let go because he had like 5 fouls. Shout out to him, though, because he got his 5th foul in like it was either late 3rd or early 4th and played the rest of the game. Didn't get a foul. Shout out to him, right? He was still available. But that's something that Indiana can definitely attack. And yes, the Knicks should have won the game, but if you think about all the crazy stuff that went back and forth, if you look at it, it's like, okay, everything was really evened out. Like there's obviously going to be a subsect of people that are like, oh, well, if the Pacers don't start 9 for 9, or if Nesmith doesn't do this. Well, also the Knicks, like the Knicks got away with, on Obi Toppin's last dunk, they got away with the and one.
Yeah.
Right. There's things that there were things that the Knicks got away with. There's things that the Pacers got away with. And surprise, that's basketball. That's playoff basketball. So I feel like at the end of the day, everything evened out, and you did see ultimately 2 teams very evenly matched, and Indiana was able to capitalize at the right time and go on their run. And there's that. The one thing that was very, very encouraging was the fact that Brunson was able to get to the line so much. And that was something that I thought was going to happen early on, because their guards like McConnell and Nembhard and Nesmith, because of how physical they are, both of them are inviting pressure and are inviting physicality. And so a call is going to have to be made. And so you saw Brunson either have offensive fouls or get fouled. And sometimes they just said, hey, it's a no call. Brunson had 7 turnovers last night. And that was a factor of Indiana being so physical, putting a lot of pressure on him. And so that's something that Indiana, they do to really everybody in terms of like the full court press and putting pressure on stuff. That's gonna be massive, because if these games are going like this and the Knicks are needing Brunson to score 40 points, right, to win these games, and we're playing deep into the fourth quarter and it's tied and you need him to score, he's going to get tired, and that eventually is going to work out in the Pacers' favor.
Yeah, I need Tom Thibodeau to do something defensively that is smart. Like they're not even switching these screens, which is like an easy thing that Tyrese Halliburton isn't the best at attacking. Like they made it so easy on the Pacers' offense, and vice versa. Like I'm surprised the Pacers aren't like helping off of Josh Hart or making him a non-shooter. Like if you both these teams, if you defend them this straight up, they have way too much offense. They're going to kill you. Like the Knicks, if you give them 5-out spacing and you respect Josh Hart as if he's like a sniper, you're never going to stop the Jalen Brunson cat attack. And same thing, vice versa. This, to me, truly comes down to who makes the smart, best adjustment that the other team struggles with. Because right now, we're like, if that was like a regular season game plan wise.
I feel you. I think,
especially on Thibodeau's part, I saw some Knicks fans are mad. I can't believe that they had Cat playing a deep drop like that. Like it was baffling to me in that first quarter when he was getting fried for like 5 straight possessions to start the game. Obviously, it evened out and they got a lead, so it didn't kill them because he had such a good offensive game. But they really hung him out to dry and was like, hey, go out there and do the thing you're worst at. That should work.
I am so happy that you mentioned Tibbs, because ironically enough, he's on my winners list for all the worst reasons. But macro-wise, this is the best reason, bro. He is the first winner on my list, arguably the biggest winner, because he just maintained job security for making it to the Eastern Conference Finals. Now, of course, it matters how you go out, and if he gets swept or they lose in 5 or whatever the case may be, obviously that'll be a disappointment. It might change the course of the conversation a little bit. But all in all, dude, he, in my mind, going into the season and knowing how they went out over the last few years, he was one of the few coaches who wasn't really talked about that much. But he's on to a certain level, he's on the hot seat because of how vanilla, basic, and boring this offense and for sometimes the defense would feel like. And this
all the time the
game
defense.
Right here,
he doesn't do anything interesting.
Exactly. And this game right here exemplifies that. It amplifies that. That's a popular word that we've been using over the last few weeks. And for me personally, for me personally, seeing him maintain this level of play, aka being like getting escape routed by just the greatness of Brunson, he keeps his job position for next year, no matter what happens, which is the greatest W that anyone could ever imagine.
I can't believe Tyrese Halliburton made this shot, man. This is so crazy.
We talked about it. Reggie Miller and his choke sign, very cool, right? It was a very much like, like you're choking, your team is choking. Tyrese Halliburton almost strangled himself trying to do this. His hands were so tight around his own neck. It was so OD. I hate the fact that he was able to pull this out.
That's hilarious.
That's tough.
All right, so he's 10 on it. Still Knicks in 6?
Yeah.
Okay. I said on the stream by the end, I don't know which way I want to go. I don't have a strong opinion. Something in my heart, my brain tells me Knicks in 7 to go with the fourth quarter executor and Jalen Brunson. But something in me
Tyrese is executing like this, you know?
That's what I'm going to say. Something in me just says Tyrese is rising to the occasion. This offense is clicking on all cylinders. Their clutch gene is outrageous. Something in me says Pacers in 7. Again, either way, I don't feel confident in it, but there's something itching in the back of my head that's like the Pacers are going to win the series.
Whew.
Man.
No, I'll go Knicks in 6. And listen, you can't win 6 if you don't lose 2.
There you go. Fantastic.
So you got your one.
If you want to have a glass half full, this is very reminiscent of game 1 for the OKC versus Nuggets series, in which they led most of the game, and in the fourth quarter, they just collapsed and allowed an inexplicable comeback. And the execution is a little different. I think the Knicks have a little bit more problems than the Thunder did in that game. But again, the precedent is there for the better team to win most of the game, then troll the end, and then come back and over the course of 7 games show they're the better team. So Knicks fans, you're not sunk yet. The ship isn't there. But there's some holes being punctured in the hull of the ship that one more puncher, one more Tyrese Halliburton signature moment, it might get spooky.
We have to get game 2.
You're on the precipice of danger.
Yeah. Game 2's a must.
Oh, absolutely. It's a must win.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we're going to talk about OKC versus Minnesota, but we're going to do that tonight after game 2 because we're recording this Thursday morning. So right now, we're going to do a little fast forward. You guys are going to go towards the future. Mo's not going to be here. It's going to be me and Donovan talking about OKC versus Minnesota. Then we're going to come back, and you guys are going to see the main part of this episode, the winners and losers of the playoffs. I want to take a quick second to shout out Coinbase for sponsoring this episode of the show. Coinbase is not only the best and easiest place to get started with crypto, it's also the most trusted. It's the only publicly traded crypto exchange, and right now, if you want to get started and try it out, you can get $20 or free Bitcoin when you sign up with the link in the description or use promo code 20deep3. So once again, shout out to Coinbase for coming on to the show with us this episode. Let's get you right back to the show. Well, that was fun.
Do you feel vindicated?
I feel better than you felt watching the Knicks.
That was uncalled for. that was extremely uncalled for.
Hey, at least it's not the Lakers.
Yeah.
But yeah, we just watched, or we're here to talk to you guys at 10:30 p.m. on Thursday night before this comes out, because we just watched game 2 of OKC versus Minnesota. I don't know why I'm telling you guys. I forgot. We already explained to you before the transition. But, live reaction to what was basically belt to ass for 4 quarters. It
honestly wasn't.
Okay.
It really wasn't.
You're right. For 2 quarters, it was somewhat competitive, then belt to ass.
Yeah, it was, and which really has been the thing about this series is like the Wolves have been able to keep pace for the first half.
Yeah.
And then you go into halftime, and the Thunder look around. They're like, "You ready?" And they're like, "All right, I'm ready. I'm ready." Okay. And then they actually go and they play defense. They lock everybody up. And the third quarter has been the quarter where OKC has been able to take full control. They start putting BTA, and you look up, and it's a 20-point game, and you're like, "What just happened?"
Yeah, I guess I said 4 quarters because I told you we were watching it. I haven't felt worried a single time in this game.
Haven't, yeah.
Really, since halftime of game 1, haven't felt worried even a little bit. As you guys know, you guys saw the game yesterday. The Oklahoma City Thunder won the game 118-103, which, 15-point lead at the end. Doesn't tell the whole story because if we look at here, the second half game chart, it's quite a lot of light blue signifying OKC leads. Quite a lot of light blue here. It is an avalanche. The Minnesota Timberwolves took a couple 1-point leads throughout the game. They scored the first bucket, and at some point in the second quarter, they took a 1-point lead. But it was largely domination for the whole time, even though it was somewhat close for the second quarter period. Yeah. And, story of game 1, I guess this is our first time reacting to both of these games. The last time we talked about the series was our preview stream, in which I think me and you both said OKC in 6.
I think so, yeah.
Something along those lines.
I changed it to the end to say like OKC in 7 because I wanted to give them a little bit of credit. I want to give Minnesota some credit because they came in, and the second half of the year they've been playing much better, right? They did disperse of the Lakers and the Warriors in 5 games.
Disperse, nice.
So you're like, okay, fine. Like we'll do that. I think Ants ascending, whatever. And then you just get to this series where OKC just has the best collection of wing defenders ever and is having the hardest time of his life either scoring, getting into position, and they're just making everything tough. And so through 2 games, it's like, yeah, this is done. It's not even like, oh, is it gonna go 7? Is Minnesota gonna get 1?
I think they'll get 1. They'll win 1 at home at least.
That's the question.
So I think we'll talk through the lens of what we expected to happen in the series in that predictions episode that a lot of you guys probably didn't see. I think it's pretty much gone exactly as we said. You know, we went with OKC to win the series because I'll speak for myself. I think what we saw from them last series, you know, there was times in which their offense was really bad. A lot of think pieces were going down on the timeline about is this team a fraud? Do they have it? Is the regular season success not indicative of playoff success because their lack of late game offense? Because Shai wasn't coming through, you know, one game, I think it was game 3, had the worst playoff game of his career. There was a lot in the air about this team, mostly relating to their offensive struggles. And the story to me there is the Denver Nuggets did a goddamn great job at implementing defensive game plans that expose their exact weaknesses. They hit him with the zone. They used the strengths of Nikola Jokic and his size in the paint to really wall off that area and force OKC to beat them with jump shots, and they went cold. So I think we kind of saw in that series really the worst case scenario for what the OKC offense can be. If you slow down Shai a little bit and the role players are bricks because they're not super reliable shooters, it gets spooky. And a lot of people said, okay, Denver Nuggets defense, trash. They do not have good defenders on that roster pretty clearly. So if they could do that, what's Minnesota going to do? What are they going to do with Rudy Gobert and Jay McDaniels? They might lock them down. And one of the retorts I had to that in the stream was, I understand that talent gap is immense. I will not argue that. I don't think it particularly matters because I think, the Denver Nuggets played so above their heads of what they should have been capable of talent-wise. You can't get much better defending OKC than they did. So even if the other team is more talented, Denver did a great job. They had the right matchups. They did the peak version you can of defending this team. So it's really up from there. And I think obviously the Minnesota offense is far less worrisome than Nikola Jokic for the OKC Thunder, just because for what reason you said, the amount of perimeter defenders they have. I find it hard to believe any slashing guard or really any star guard across the league besides, I guess, Luka. I find it hard to believe any star guard is going to lead their team to beat the Thunder. You're going to have to beat them with a guy like Nikola Jokic who can take advantage of their bigs. So all that together, it seemed like the Nuggets had a better offensive matchup and pretty much equal defensive matchup with how they played above their heads. It was hard to imagine a way in which the Minnesota Timberwolves would really push this team, barring disaster for the Thunder. And to me, that's played out exactly that way.
Yeah, I think the only way that I saw Minnesota actually winning this series is if Anthony Edwards ascended to another level. And you were like, is it actually reasonable to ask of him? And I was like, I don't know, but like if they're gonna win this series, you are gonna have to have that, because of all the strength that they have, and because Game 6 between OKC and Denver was one of the worst games Jalen Williams has ever played, especially in the playoffs. And since then, he has been hooping. He hooped in Game 7.
Especially tonight.
He was great in Game 1, and he was amazing tonight. And so this version of OKC, where you have Shai on MVP night, he drops 38, and you have Jalen Williams being the actual number 2. This is the version of Jalen Williams that a year and a half ago we're like, that's a top 20 player in the league, right? Somebody who is not only an elite defender, but somebody who can also go in and create his own shot and go on runs and sustain the offense. And this is all with a Chet Holmgren that is still, coming into his own, recovering from injury, all that stuff. So going into next year, all that is it's completely on the table. But if we're just talking about this series right now, if Shai's going to be Shai and J-Dub is going to be J-Dub, the Timberwolves are going to need one of the greatest performances that we've ever seen in playoff history from Anthony Edwards, or else it's not going to happen, because Randle, and he had a terrible game 2. He had a good game 1. We were giving him all his props coming in, but Caruso can bother him all day long. Everybody on this team can bother him.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
So a few things you said there. On the Randle part, in the preview episode, I gave him his props. I didn't want to say this because he's playing so well. I didn't want to be the guy that's like, it's not going to keep going. But it's not surprising to me that Jalen Williams and Caruso and all the other guys are very equipped to stop a power post player. J-Dub is for second team All-NBA. I think should have been first. That got announced today because he is so good at defending bigs. He played center for 15 games and they won like 9 of them. He is amazing at defending strong, powerful players. Zero surprise to me that Randle's struggling to create in the post. In Game 1, he had that stretch in the first half where he hit like 5 straight threes and had a great game because of that. If the 3-point shot isn't falling, that creation being bigger and stronger than people isn't going to work against this team.
Mhm.
And I think that's kind of what you're seeing with Ant in these second halves too. Great first half of this game. Second half is slowed down. He had a good fourth quarter, but for the third quarter when the lead exploded, he was nowhere to be seen. Because this team, man, they can just shut your water off in a way that if you don't have a type of player like Nikola Jokic who can, I can't even think of how to explain that because he's just like the best offensive player of all time. Yeah. But if you don't have a guy who can create an instant paint touch, make the right decision every time, and just be a mismatch in that way to a degree very few players ever have, it's so hard to create consistently against this team. You're going to have to beat them with defense and really like make the OKC offense lose them the game. The Timberwolves decided, like we talked about the Nuggets doing such a great job, they triple teamed Shai at times. They played zone and they ran a 2-3 zone while double teaming Shai every time he touched the ball. It was the most gimmicky defense in the world, and it worked because OKC couldn't make shots. The Timberwolves did something that you can tell me if you think this is ballsy or if you think it's ignorant. They decided to play straight up and run their traditional Rudy Gobert drop coverage. They sprinkled in some zone, but it's not their main look. They're running and defending Shai straight up, a traditional pick and roll coverage, so he can get comfortable getting a rhythm, which he was never able to do because of that gimmick defense against the Nuggets. And he's shredding them. He's cooking them because he's finally seeing a regular defense that resembles a regular season game, and he is doing every bit of MVP performance. So it's kind of surprising to me that they decided to let him get his game off in that way and just trust Jaden McDaniels, who has never been someone who's good at one-on-one locking down strong ball handlers. I don't know how to feel about that. I don't feel like it's the strongest Chris Finch decision.
It's not great, but also I can kind of understand it just because you do want to be in a position where your best defensive players feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And especially if you're at this stage, like switching stuff up and asking Rudy to do something or asking the whole defense to really, really shift around everything that they're doing. That's not an amazing idea. However, you are NBA players in the Western Conference Finals. You're gonna have to figure it out.
It's Shai. You have to.
That's what I'm saying. Like if you want to win a championship, surprise, you're gonna have to make adjustments. You're gonna have to try new things. And so whether that is a 100% like Chris Finch is doing that just because he wants to do it, or he's trying to protect his players from a specific thing, you really just have to throw all of that out the window. And yeah, defensively, it is what it is. Like I know Shai is gonna get his stuff off. The big difference and the clearest difference is Minnesota has to work so hard for every single bucket. Every action, they have to go into the first and second one. They have to go into so many options. And then you go down, like it'll take Minnesota 20 seconds to get a contested layup. And then you go on the other side, Oklahoma City comes down, one little guard-to-guard screen, boom, open three, and it's going in. And you're like, damn it, like I can't do anything. And so I don't know. Obviously, we can get to game 3, and maybe the hot shooting that Minnesota has had throughout the first half, maybe that sustains itself for the whole game in game 3. Maybe because the bench actually did show up in the first half, and like the role players, they did shoot decently in the first half.
Yeah, that's a good thing to point out. So these two games, the story of game 1 was similar to this game in the first half. They kept it competitive. Mm-hmm. Second half, doors got blown off because the OKC defense took over. But to color that, the Minnesota Timberwolves role players, they have 3 main guys off the bench: Dante DiVincenzo, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Naz Reid. Gives them elite depth. It's a big reason why they beat the shit out of the Lakers, because that depth is a big advantage over most teams. Those guys gave you absolutely nothing in game 1. They had a combined, was it 0 threes or 1? I think it was like not a lot. I don't have the box score pulled up that game.
It was something small.
Something outlandish. It was like 0 for 15 from 3. It was ridiculous how ineffective they were. And the other side of the ball, the whole dialogue was around Shai and the free throw shit, because people thought that was an especially egregious flopping game, that there were some bad calls. We actually talk about that later in this episode that we already recorded in the winners and losers. So you see my thoughts there.
All right, wait, real quick. So I got it between Naz Reid, Dante, and Nickeil Alexander-Walker.
Game 1.
I
think it was 0 for 15, wasn't it?
They were 5 for 28.
Oh, from the field.
Oh, from the field? No, from 3.
Oh, okay. They got 28 up between those 3?
5 from 28, yeah.
Okay, I'm spreading fake news. It was not over 15. It was 5 from 28, which is still not good. So the story was those guys were very cold at a high volume, and the OKC offense, led by Shai, getting to the free throw line a million times, to much chagrin of everybody watching, every non-OKC fan. Again, we talk about that later in the episode. you can assume what I think about that. Whatever your assumptions are, they are correct. That was the story of game 1. Story of game 2 in the beginning was the opposite. Shai wasn't getting to the free throw line. He was like he ended up with 15 for the whole game. But in the first half, I think he finished, I'll check, with like 6 or something. But he was torching them from the mid-range, obliterating them from the mid-range. He did all his work from the field, got to his spots relentlessly, and those Minnesota role players were actually hitting their threes. Did not matter in the end.
It didn't. I think also Ant ended up with a solid game. There were a lot of moments where Ant had wide open shots and shots where, and it's a very, very unfair and very like cherry pick thing to say, but he's hitting shots that Shai's hitting on the other end, and he just has to be better. And you look at his game, and he ends up with 30. I'm sorry, I'm gonna need 45 from you every single night, and it may seem taxing, but we're talking about Ant like he is one of the 6 to 7 best players in the world. A lot of people have already crowned Ant as this young ascending star, face of the league. He's having all of these moments, but we've seen in playoff series before that he hasn't necessarily had dominant, like consistent stretches, and you can have games where he's going 7 for 22 from the field or 6 for 19 and this and that. And so when Shai is hyper efficient on the other end, a wide open 3 from Ant in the corner to keep it at 2, like everybody else who's playing Minnesota, you are playing a different game.
Yeah.
You're not necessarily just playing a regular game of basketball. You are trying to manage the damage in the first half, keep it close, going into halftime, going into the third and fourth quarter. You're really playing it 12 minutes at a time and trying to stay within reach, because as soon as OKC gets any type of defensive momentum, it's over. If they get a 10-point lead, they're not blowing these leads, right?
Yeah, they have such a high floor because their defense is so consistent. And like people like early in the playoff run, I guess it's pretty quiet now because nobody got shit to say, but early in the playoff run, there was a lot of like, they don't got dog in them. They don't have they don't have the playoff experience. They don't got the it factor, whatever verbiage you want to use to explain having nothing interesting to say and just spewing cliches. People said it about OKC because their offense is inconsistent and people felt like they didn't have it in them to execute for whatever reason.
I mean, that's a little bit. That's a little bit of like youth and Jada being in that position and going through all of this. This is something that you get on the road to getting experience. And so not like now that he's gone through it, you can't look at it and be like, oh, you've never had your back against the wall. No.
I was gonna say people have all that to say about them. Right or wrong, that's about the offense. Nobody has ever said they don't have the dog in them defensively.
Oh yeah.
So that's what I'm trying to say is that even if that becomes true at times and they go cold offensively and you feel like you're watching frauds, they never feel that way defensively. The defensive intensity is always ridiculous. So to the point you made, their floor is so high because of that even when they troll offensively and you're in the game because they're not making threes, whatever, all it takes is that, because the defensive intensity is never going to slip. And there's no teams in the NBA that can match that. There's very few that have ever been able to match that.
Yeah, I think so. Now, Minnesota, they did a good job in this game getting opportunities to go downhill.
Oh, way better
than in game one. In game one, it was very much like, okay, you're gonna get the ball here, try and make a move and get by them one-on-one. You actually saw them, whether it be having him off ball, making quicker decisions, having who's ever setting the screen, set rescreens, right, getting him downhill. That was a very, very good adjustment for them to get him in better positions. The problem is you need to have that, and you need to have Julius Randle hitting the outside shot in order for everything to go down. So maybe all of that happens in game 3, and maybe we can get a more competitive game 3. That's something that I think that OKC is going to be prepared for, obviously, defensively, but at least for Ant, it was very, very encouraging that the Timberwolves were able to set him up in places where now the onus is on you to just do Anthony Edwards things. And so going back home, right, we're going to lean on this cliche, and hopefully everybody plays better at home and all that stuff. Yeah. You can go into the locker room and base level just be like, hey man, like They won their 2 at home. Now we just have to go win our 2 at home and just chalk it
Series
up.
doesn't start till someone wins on the road.
Exactly.
I think that shit started. I think you should be afraid.
Yeah, you can trick yourself into that, but that's probably what they're telling themselves right now.
Yeah, you mentioned Anthony Edwards, game 1. He said he was saying himself way too passive. Only got 13 shots up. He averages 21 for the playoffs. They did a great job denying him. It's, like Doris Burke or Richard Jefferson on the call would be like, he's got to do a better job being aggressive and all this stuff. He didn't just decide he doesn't want to take shots. The Thunder defense made it impossible for him to get to the rim. It's so hard for him to get there. And like you said, I think he did a very good job in this game. For most of the playoffs, he's been horrible finishing at layups. His touch has been off. He hasn't been in a rhythm, and that's been a problem. He's shooting before the series started, it was 56% at the rim, which is not good for any scoring guard standards. Yeah. I thought he was goddamn impressive at the rim. He had some touch finishes this game that were amazing around Chet Holmgren over tough defenders. It felt like he took that first game to heart and really, really focused at the rim. And it was to the point where I'm like, if you do that every game, look at this running hook he just hit. I'll rewind it in this. Look at this. Over Hardenstein. That's a tough finish.
No, it's hard. That's hard.
That's very difficult. He doesn't always hit this type of stuff. He was locked in there. Problem is he shot 1 for 9 from 3. Best shooting guard in the NBA at shooting threes. As soon as he put it together at the rim, the 3-point shot went cold. And that's the difference. If he would have shot 4 for 9 from 3, what is that, 9 extra points? This would have been a 41-point game.
Yeah.
So it's a good sign he got to the rim and got that off against his tough defense. You got to do both. You can't have any trade-offs to beat this type of defense.
I'm telling you, he has to average 40.
Yeah.
He has to do it. And especially when there's so many things that OKC does well at the very, very base, simple level. If Shai's on and J-Dub is on, you have to be able to match that with Ant and Randle.
Yeah.
If we're just going 2-on-2 scoring, and they haven't been able to do that over these first 2 games, and Minnesota is only going to win this if they're able to put enough pressure on that defense, make them think about anything, make them nervous about anything. And right now, they're chilling. They are legit chilling, and they have.
Oh, you know who's not chilling?
Who?
Sorry, Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert is not chilling. They are taking him out of the game, and I barely think it's his fault. But he's playing well when he's in his drop coverage and can do his normal things. One, these guard defenders are leaving him out to dry. They're dying on the screens. Shai and J-Dub got downhill and cooked him in this game. Not much you can do there. They ran that zone coverage where they ran the 2-3 similar to the Denver Nuggets. Mm-hmm. And it was an immediate flash to the middle of the court, and they were hitting floaters over his head. He has no chance to rotate because the guards are not doing a good job denying the ball whatsoever. And offensively, he had the resurrection he had in the second half of the season because they moved to make Randle the screen setter and Rudy Gobert stays parked in the dunker spot and cleans up. And Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle combined, and Jamie Daniels for that matter, are able to create paint touches and get the defense rotating where Rudy Gobert can be a finisher. Look at this play on the screen right now. This is the one. Jamie Daniels attacks his closeout, dumps it off to Rudy Gobert. This is the story of how his offense has worked for the whole second half of the season. He just stays there and catches the dunk and finishes. This is the first time that happened all series, I think. This is the only one. The OKC Thunder defense has done such an amazing job at clamping down on the rotations and not allowing him to get these easy finishes. Even when he does a good job on the boards, there's so little opportunities for him to put it back up because they're so swarming. They've eliminated his offensive value, his threat as a scorer in the dunker spot, and they're doing a good job of shooting over him because the shot making has been outrageous from the 2-star guards. He's playing okay, but he just has no impact.
On top of that, whoever is the coach in charge of teaching the OKC Thunder how to play with their hands, somebody needs to hire him and get him away from this franchise. They have the best hands I've ever seen.
Yeah, we talked about that during the game.
Yeah.
There's several plays that the Minnesota Timberwolves guys try to throw an entry pass into the post to Julius Randle or once to Gobert. The way that Lou Dort, Cason Wallace, J-Dub, and Shai are all amazing at coming in like goddamn Ed Reed and catching the ball and intercepting it on those entry passes because they don't see him rotating from the weak side. It's outrageous. It is not fair to have this many genius IQ level defenders on one team that also have the best hands you've ever seen. If you did a measure of the best hands in the NBA from perimeter defenders, you rank the top 10. I know for a fact Cason Wallace is top 5.
Yeah.
J-Dub's top 3 probably. Lou Dort's probably top 10. And Shai for star guards, he's certainly up there. You might have 4 of the top. You have certainly 3 of the top 10. Might have 4 of the top 15 or whatever the number is. It's crazy to have that many on the same team.
And that doesn't that really does not help Gobert, who has some of the worst hands for a big man, especially offensively, that we've.
So if you can't spoon feed him the shots because you're getting past your guy and forcing rotations, he's not going to create for his goddamn self against these demons. So not a good. Gobert hasn't played big minutes. It has not been a Gobert series because he's so dependent on the star guards putting him in a spot to succeed, and goddamn, they have not.
So we're saying all this, and I'm just like, where are they going to get this game? Like where and what is going to have to happen for Minnesota to get back into the series? Obviously,
you're not going to like the answer.
Say it.
Shooting variance. That's what it's going to have to be.
It's true, though. Yeah. It's true. We talked. It's been the story of plenty of playoff games, plenty of playoff series in the modern NBA. Anthony Edwards' entire ascension is based solely on the fact that he went from being regular, like doing, kind of what he was doing tonight, into I'm going to be able to shoot the ball like Dame Lillard.
Yeah.
And if you're not shooting at, forget 42% from three, if you're not shooting 37%, 36%, right? Something that's somewhat respectable from three, that's not going to happen. And you're okay losing Cat in this trade because you say, okay, it's fine. We lost a shooter. I'm just going to be the shooter. Yeah. I'm just going to provide all of the outside spacing and all of the outside firepower that we have. And that hasn't shown up for them.
What do you think Minnesota shot for three for this game? I thought it was a lot better than this. It ended up, I'll just tell you, it ended up at 28%. So that's the answer. They have to shoot good. They have to shoot very good because you're not going to create at the rim.
28%?
28. They started so good in the first quarter. I didn't check the team averages. Granted, Anthony Edwards is 1 for 11 himself, so that fucking tanks it.
Yeah.
I'm sure if I could filter outside of Ant, it would be decent. Jay McDaniel shot 4 for 8 from 3. That has to be the answer. You are only going to beat this OKC Thunder team if you can shoot the hell out of the ball from 3. Or if you have Nikola Jokic beating you up down low. Their whole defensive thing is they're going to rotate off the corners and they're going to be incredibly fast getting back on their shooters, but you will have opportunities to hit open shots because they're not going to let you attack the rim. Every defense has to give up something. 3-point shots are what OKC wants to give up.
This is awful.
If you shoot 28% on those threes, you have absolutely zero chance of beating the OKC Thunder 4 out of 7 times.
Naz Reid 0 for 5. Julius Randle 0 for 3. Mike Conley 1 for 4. And Dante 2 for 6. It's unacceptable. You're not going to do it. And if you are the outmatched team, you're right. You're going to have to win by playing the math and getting these shots up and hoping that they go in. And right now they aren't going in. They're down 2-0.
And they're winning the volume game. They're getting up a lot more threes. Or at least they were. Let me check what the total.
Which also, but also that doesn't shock me considering that it's also hard to get to the rim.
Yeah. That's why.
Yeah.
Actually, it didn't. Never mind. It didn't end up being a big break at the end because OKC lit up in the fourth quarter. 39 attempts for the Timberwolves overall. 33 for the.
Yeah.
Thunder.
So like
not enough. You got to get up more.
And they have to be good threes.
They have to gimmick their way to wins like the Denver Nuggets did. You have to run the zone, and you not even if you don't want to run zone. You don't do that.
It's not even it's gimmick, but also they have the best player in the world.
No, I mean defensively. Like you have to deny Shai the ball. You have to run gimmicks that you feel like they're beneath you. Mm-hmm. They probably don't want to do this because they say we got Jay McDaniels. We don't got to double team him. We don't got to triple team him. We can defend him straight up. You motherfucking do. Shai has gotten to the point that he is an instant paint touch, an instant shot creation for himself or others. In the same way Giannis is. Mm-hmm. You cannot defend him straight up 1-on-1 or 2-on-2 in a traditional pick and roll sense. It is death. They are seeing that. I understand you don't want to have to resort to gimmicks. You have to double team him. You have to deny him the ball, and you have to jack up a lot of threes and try to win with math. On both sides of the ball, you got to have game plans and adjustments that aren't just, we're going to play our style and do what got us here. That doesn't work in the playoffs, Chris Finch. You got to make adjustments. That's what all the best coaches do. And not to say he's done no adjustments. I'm sure there's small things. But it's pretty fucking vanilla. It's the same thing I said about the Indiana series versus the Knicks. Tibbs. Don't put Cat in a deep drop. Switch some ball screens to make Tyrese Halliburton beat you in isolation at least. Deny him the ball if you have to. Whatever needs to be done, do something other than what got us here. Like you can't just fall back on your laurels in that regard.
Yes. We keep going back to this main core. You really just have to play better. Like the onus is on Minnesota. You have to shoot better. You have to put OKC in any type of 2-minute stretch where they're like, hey, we actually have to lock in. That's not halftime. Because if you give them halftime, they have shown the ability that they can come out and they can blitz you. And once they understand what you're doing for the whole first half, they can go in for 15 minutes, they can talk about it and say, okay, let's change this, and this, and then boom, it's done.
See, like I know why you said that. They do have to play better. At the end of the day, to win a game, you got to play better. So that's not factually incorrect.
Yeah.
But like Minnesota fans, cover your ears. You're not gonna like what I have to say. It doesn't matter if they play better. This team is so much better. That's why I said they got a gimmick. Like they're not gonna. I don't think there's a level they can just play better within themselves to beat this team 4 out of 7 times. I don't think they have the capabilities for that. So you gotta gimmick this shit and try to win with nonsense, with hyper aggressive defense. Like I said, I don't think they can just make more shots, play our game plans better, and like out execute them simply out of like playing their game. I don't feel like that's possible for this team. Like this team, they're just outmatched.
It looks like that now.
Yeah.
It looks like that now. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm only saying that off of game 2. They could come back and it's a long series. We said OKC in 6 for a reason. They're going to win some games.
But listen, game 3 is
pivotal.
It's feeling scary.
Yeah,
it's feeling scary, and it feels right now. It feels like a sweep. I'm not gonna change my prediction or anything like that, just because it is very hard to sweep people.
Yeah,
but I mean, damn it,
it feels like 5. We said 6. Mo said 5, and I was like, I could see that. I'll give.
You said that you felt better about 5 than 7.
Yeah, I never saw 7,
yeah.
But I was like, Mo, you said 5. I'll give the Timberwolves a little bit more credit because it's hard to win short series when your offense is as inconsistent as the Thunders are.
Mm-hmm.
Feels more like 5 than 6 now. Finishing it at home,
man.
And again, it's only 2 games, so nothing is over. We've seen 2-0, especially when you're winning 2-0 at home. This happens, so nothing's cooked. We've seen worse things. So
that's what they're gonna tell themselves.
Yeah,
it's like it's just 2-0. It is what it is.
So I'm confident, obviously being the Thunder guy, but like if you're a Minnesota guy, it's not complete dread. There still is a chance, but you're gonna need some good breaks to go your way. You're gonna need some Mark Dagnall fouling up 3 with 11 seconds left, selling a game. Chet missing 2 free throws. You're gonna need Shai going 1 for 10 from the field in the fourth quarter. You're gonna need some breaks to go your way with the Thunder.
Well, they already got those breaks, and those breaks happened in the second round. Like,
I guess,
their version of winning this series would be that they would be playing the Denver Nuggets in the conference finals.
Yeah,
and all the stuff this Thunder team has gone through. They've gone through the fire already. And I think that now for a lot of people, it was if they can get past Denver, chip is theirs, right? The finals appearance is theirs because obviously Jokic is the best player in the world. And if you can take him down and make sure that you can stave him off with a bad J-Dub series, with Mark Dagnall having some lapses, and Jokic just taking over at the end of game 1, right? All this other stuff. If you can survive all of that, then everything else that other teams are throwing at you, it's going to be kind of easy.
Yeah, I remember, so obviously everyone calls me a Glazer for the Thunder. And the main part of that is because I forgot what episode it was. The verbiage I said that really made it set in is I said, I'll be more shocked if they don't make the finals than if they do about OKC. Mm-hmm. And like you said, once you got past Jokic, I'm certain they make the finals. That's my mindset.
You're sleeping good.
Now that the Celtics are eliminated and the Cavs are eliminated, if they get past Jokic, to me, it's been like, oh, okay, they're going to win. I'm not worried about any of these 3 teams remaining. As long as they execute, stay healthy, and don't troll and don't sell games like Mark Dagnall and Shai did last series when they should have won in 4 or 5, as long as they don't shoot themselves in the foot, I will be baffled if they don't win the finals. I will die on this hill. If they do not win the finals, I'll go down with the ship as being loud and wrong.
The way you were talking during the game, it was beyond that. It was if they don't go back to back, I'll be shocked.
No. So we can talk about it a little bit. So this is obviously getting way ahead of ourselves, but I was like, Chet, right? We've been talking about it for weeks. Yeah. Chet's lower body is so fucking weak, and he had a good game tonight, but you can tell he is so much worse than he was end of last year or the beginning of this season when he took that leap for those first 5 games before he got hurt. As soon as he gets the summer to get back, man, no team in recent years has been in a great situation to go back to back because these champions haven't been quite as good enough. You lose KCP, so forth. The best team that could have the best chance is the Celtics, and then they fail, and now Jason Tatum's hurt. Even when they won, though, they had the best chance going back to back because they were so good and so young. But they had OKC looming on the other side, getting Hartenstein, getting Caruso. If they win this year, who's looming? I know Chet's going to get better. I know Topic is coming to give them a backup point guard, which they literally don't have right now. Who's looming around the league as like the next super team that you feel like is a championship favorite over them?
You need a team like the Houston Rockets to go out and make another trade.
Get KD or
and
get
so,
Giannis.
Yeah, and so like it's very contingent on that. And then even if the Spurs end up getting it, you rarely see teams make a massive acquisition like that, and then in year one go and win the chip. It normally takes 2 years, 3 years, whatever it is, to not only have the chemistry built, but also to fully build out the roster. If I look down, it would be someone like
Houston's the best one because they had a star there.
It would either be Houston or what if we finally get this magical, healthy Cleveland season.
Yeah.
Like, what does that actually look like?
Yeah.
Maybe you can get that. Or if the Indiana Pacers continue
Sure.
to mess around with voodoo dolls, maybe they can be threats. But
And nothing's certain. I'm not saying to like write off other teams or anything like. This is not a real conversation.
We're two series.
This is not a real conversation. They haven't won the finals yet. It's not a real conversation. I'm just saying like if they do, they will be so set up, man. Like I guess the reason we bring that up is so much is at their fingertips right now. If they just get through these next few weeks and do what they should do against clearly inferior teams, like obviously going to the playoffs, someone like me can be confident saying I think they're going to the finals.
They're gonna call us all types of levels of Glazers.
Oh, I mean, I don't even care anymore at this point. I'm like a fucking.
I mean, we're talking about back to back in Dynasty before they even secured it.
Yeah, but like but the point is, going into the playoffs, it's easy for me to say.
Do your job.
Exactly. It's easy for me to say before the playoffs that I think you should win the finals if things go well and you play to your standards, you play as good as I think you can. It's a whole different beast when you're at this point 6 wins away from an NBA championship with 3 teams that are not in your tax bracket. They're at the precipice of getting it done. Mm-hmm. Just don't fucking fold now. It's at your fingertips.
Just stay calm, do your job. Everything else will figure itself out.
Exactly. Like much better now. I guess they're halfway through. Or no, because 2 series have been played, so way more than halfway now. But you feel much more confident now than you did before the playoffs.
Yeah. So what was that? 10 out of 16?
10 out of 16 games.
62.5%.
Good math.
I got you. I was turning over the timetables. I was like that.
I'm so glad they didn't lose the last series. I'm so glad they didn't lose in the second round.
I can't even focus on anything they're doing. I've been in mental hell all day.
Oh, with the Knicks?
Yeah.
And it's so nice that like my favorite team in the Lakers went out sad. And it's nice that like...
They're like sad early.
Yeah, the team I actually think is going to win is living up to it. Like, obviously I was supporting the Lakers and that's my favorite team, so I was excited. But like, you're not going to find a single video clip of me saying they can beat the Thunder. Like, I never thought anybody but the Thunder would win the West. Mm-hmm. It's nice at least something is going to plan. Yeah. If Luka and JJ went out sad, at least I can hang my hat on something going well for me.
Again, I've spent the last 24 hours just replaying every single play. Once we get to Friday, by the time this episode comes out, I will fully be in game 2 mode, right? You know, they tell you have the 24-hour rule.
Yeah.
I'm taking every second of 24 hours to get over game 1. Then we're locked in. We're locked in for game 2.
Okay. And that being said, you guys heard our reaction to game 1 earlier today. Yes. Knicks versus Pacers. This is our reaction to OKC versus the Timberwolves. We're going to get you on to the rest of the show. We're going to rewind for us to earlier today when we recorded hour 2 of the show, giving you guys our biggest winners and losers of the NBA playoffs at large. It was a good one. I liked it.
It was solid.
And we're back.
Woohoo.
It is time for hour 2 of the show, the main block. The winners and losers of the 2025 NBA playoffs. We're going to get broad with this. I didn't even tell you guys like any parameters for this. So it's truly whatever you mean and whatever it means to you to be a winner or a loser. Do we want to start with negativity or do we want to start with positivity?
I leaked my list a little bit earlier with the winner and Tibbs.
So you want to go to loser to start?
Let's go with losers.
The biggest loser of the NBA playoffs so far. We'll go with the player first. It pains me to say this. Ty Jerome, you are one of the biggest losers of the NBA playoffs so far.
Damn.
And when I say that, I mean Ty Jerome, your pockets are the biggest losers of this NBA playoffs. So much talk was had in the second half of the season of, damn, what is he going to get in free agency? What are the Cavs going to have to pay to retain this guy? Arguably the best point guard off the bench in the entire NBA, especially for the second half of the season. Other fans of other teams were like, what do we got to do to get us Ty Jerome next year? I haven't seen a single peep about that since the playoffs started. The question now is, damn, how much money did he lose himself with that performance?
Yeah, I think it was pretty much safe to say like I don't know what the thought process budget wise is, but I think he was looking to easily clear at least like 20 to 25 a year for a player like his caliber. The NBA is insane.
Certainly more than the league minimum he makes now. Certainly more.
Yeah, exactly. In my mind, I'm like, if someone like DeAndre Hunter makes like damn near 30 a year, he's gonna clear like 25, 20. And to see how he went out and just constantly just get, I almost said something disrespectful, but have Tyrese Halliburton walk him down the way he did in those series and not stand a chance on either ends of the court is so demotivating as a man.
Damn.
So demotivating, bro.
Demotivating as a man? Good
Yeah.
Lord. I just think his shot wasn't falling, and his game is really predicated on floater range and having this finesse game that when a team clearly can sit down and game plan for it, and you're not having the best shooting performance, you're not in your best rhythm, the house of cards falls really, really quickly whenever the one, not gimmicky thing because it is an immense skill, but it's a rather one-dimensional foundation to your offense, like that in-between floater range. And obviously he can shoot, he can get to the rim, other stuff, but the main scoring bag he has, like he shot better from floater range than he did from the rim this year. That's incredibly difficult to do, let alone for the course of an entire season. Doing that for 10 games would be crazy. A whole year, like you are a unique player that gets away with it because you did it for a sample size that we have to respect. But if that in between game is taken away, I think you see a little bit more of the player in the past years that was, bouncing around roster to roster.
Yeah, but at the same time, teams are desperate. And so it wouldn't shock me if he still was able to get a pretty decent contract, because there is, we've seen people also ridiculous play, but we've seen people have bad playoff runs and still be able to recover from it. Mm-hmm. And yes, he might have lost himself a couple $1 million. He's not making a lot right now. No matter what, he's coming up.
Yeah.
So he's gonna be okay. I do think that it is very easy to thrive in a system where you have Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell, and that is much different than being lead guard, lead point guard in another situation. And so I do wonder, to your point, if teams actually look at this and now say, okay, we probably have the full spectrum, and he isn't as bad as what he was in the playoffs, and he isn't as good as what we saw for the regular season. He is probably somewhere in the middle, but I'm with you. 20 doesn't seem crazy for a Ty Jerome.
20 is a lot. I don't know. 25 is damn sure a lot.
I don't think that, but 20 is.
There's plenty of role player deals that aren't as high as we think. That 20 would be crazy. KCP got 20, and KCP is much more established when you got that. But either way, irrelevant.
Yeah.
He'll still get 12, 15. He'll get probably a mid-level exception, which is 12.5. That's probably what he should get, which is a good bag for a player. So, but aside from the pocket watching, the main reason I want to bring him up is it's really to say the Cavs supporting cast is the biggest loser.
Yeah.
Their stars got hurt. We know Darius Garland once again played through injury, missed games, probably would have missed the whole series if it was a regular season. D-Mitch had to carry. The whole rhythm of the team was thrown off by Garland being gone, Mobley missing a game. Everything collapsed because of you pulled a couple Django blocks out and the whole thing collapsed.
Yeah.
The supporting cast didn't do a great job making up for it. Obviously people have been very critical of Jared Allen. Channing Frye was on his podcast basically calling Jared Allen a fraud. He was like, no NBA big man respect him. He's not a playoff player. Everything short of calling him bitch made, he said. And that, to me, that was a bit dramatic. We've seen Jared Allen perform well plenty of times, but he didn't have a great series. This offense was a lot to deal with. The team's defensive infrastructure wasn't there. He didn't hold up his end as the anchor. But, DeAndre Hunter got hurt. Ty Jerome disappeared for a lot of the series. What does this team do in supporting cast-wise? Obviously, their core four is probably going to stay intact, barring a Jared Allen trade, which I don't think should be an assumption. Some people were saying that, but it shouldn't be an assumption. But they're certainly going to have to reconfigure some of the bench and supporting guys.
Yeah, and I had just Cleveland Cavaliers as a whole as one of my losers.
Let's talk about it.
Because this is the best season that you've had in a non-LeBron context. Considering like where we are in the NBA and
over the last like 30 years. For
yeah,
sure.
right.
30, 40 years.
So you win 64 games, you cruise through the first round, and then you get here, you don't capitalize on any of the opportunities that you have. Everybody falls apart. D Mitch, he gets hurt at the very end. His his peak superhero effort goes wasted.
Yep.
And now you sit here once again with the entire league looking at you guys, and not only Jared Allen, but the entire team saying you're all frauds.
Yeah. No, they're definitely they're going to get all the slander of regular season doesn't matter. You can't do it, prove it. And part of it will be unfair because, like we said, the injuries are undoubtedly a part of it, right? They probably, the series, they might have still lost. The Pacers played amazing. It obviously would have went slightly different at the least if they were healthy. But they also played like shit outside of that. So it's not entirely to the injuries. So they're halfway fraud because they're not frauds because if we know what the regular season production is not indicative of a team that can't win, right? Like it's not to say that none of that matters because you showed that doesn't translate to the playoffs. That's not the takeaway to me. It can translate to the playoffs if they're whole. But, the last 15 games of the season, they didn't play super well. And people chalked it up to regular season malaise. They locked up the 1 seed. They're going to chill. You can't. I said this at the end of the season. I forgot who I was talking about. It wasn't the Cavs. But you cannot assume every single team could just flip the switch because LeBron used to do it in the East in 2018 and so forth. Not every team has it in them to just flip the switch. I think that's something that probably played a part of it is they took their foot off the gas, never fully got it back. So they're not frauds, but they certainly failed. They certainly are a disaster of a failure. That's fair to say.
And I guess it's like, if not the biggest talking point, maybe the second biggest talking point is Darius Garland. And he's a loser on my list as well.
Can't stay healthy, man. It sucks.
It's the most deflating thing when you don't even get the chance, the opportunity to wake up and be like, okay, like body parts are working. Cool. I can go out and play in the most important time of the year. Whether it be last year, I think he broke his jaw last year.
He did that in the regular season. He was healthy for the playoffs, but he lost so much weight through that recovery that he was never 100%. So he didn't miss games in the playoffs, but he was not nearly 100%.
Yeah, when you had him as a guest on the during All-Star weekend, he was talking about how his mom like whipped up the most nastiest smoothies, and that was his diet for like so many months, too many months. So to have his left big toe specifically, just go out and fail him and he sprained it, just throw off his rhythm entirely, which is his game is so it's so weird the way to put it, but his game is so toe dependent because he's one of the shiftiest players that the league. He's probably the shiftiest player in the entire.
His game
NBA
is toe dependent.
Yeah, exactly. And when your left big toe is out like that, bro, half your swag, half your bag is just gone. He can't move.
Mobility is important for him, and obviously any type of foot injury hampers your mobility. And he's a guy that is not big or strong, so he needs to be as mobile as possible. Otherwise, the edges he has quickly dissolve. It's why you see a lot of small guards aren't particularly good at playing through injuries. You don't have a big margin for error when you're built on quickness and you don't have size to fall back on. Exactly.
Like he was struggling because his big toe just went out on him. He was struggling on all ends. Couldn't do anything right.
You keep mentioning the big toe.
It's a big left toe, man. It's so important. But seeing that happen is just so deflating year after year after year. And he's the damn near the poster boy of this list for me right now. And it's sad because he didn't do anything wrong. He didn't even get a chance or opportunity to show out how much he's improved year to year to year, especially when it comes to his chemistry and taking a little bit of a backseat to guys like Evan Mobley and Donovan Mitchell and stuff. So
the whole Cavs roster is the biggest loser, obviously. Yeah. For such a collapse and such a massive disappointment like this to happen, there has to be many culprits. Obviously, Garland's health sucks. Ty Jerome disappearing sucks. Jared Allen getting outplayed by Miles Turner sucks. Everybody else getting hurt sucks. There's almost no winners. Like even Donovan Mitchell, I feel like he obviously had to carry more load because guys went out. I feel like there's times in the later half of the series where he went too far with that and became too ball hoggy, for lack of a better word. Like it feels like at times Evan Mobley was almost iced out. So like even the guy who was there to deal with it and lose all of his teammates and Donovan Mitchell, even he's not faultless. Like it is a top-down disaster.
And now people are starting to notice and realize like, oh shit, like this dude hasn't escaped the second round ever in his career.
I see. That's a part I'm not doing. That's a part where I'm like,
I know. That you don't have to do that, but it's a part of the conversation. It's a part of the conversation. Like, damn, it's not interesting because he he's there. He's Donovan Mitchell. No one even thought he was going to be this good coming out of college. That's why no one cares right now. But it's just an interesting talking point when it's looking at a star player of his caliber.
I get it. I mean, he hasn't made it to the second round, so it's factual. That's the part where I'm like, yeah, but they lost. They had no chance because of the injuries too. So like, I'm not going to make any grand takeaways about his style of play not being able to win the playoffs. He can't go deep with D Mitch as a one option. Like that might be true. Like D Mitch isn't a top 10 player in the world, so you could have already thought that if you want. But I'm not going to use the team outcome as anything indicative of Donovan Mitchell as a lead star.
Yeah. No, but
he does have flaws, so it's not. I get it.
And now it's a race between him and Embiid to see who can get to the conference finals
it's
first.
Just a running joke.
Yeah. Okay, so obviously the Cavs are obviously big losers.
Yes.
Donovan, who's your first winner?
Player hating.
Player hating?
Player hating is the first winner.
That never went away. That's been winning.
And this is why. Specifically, when we talk about Michael Malone.
Okay.
Ooh, okay.
Yo, the Nuggets got eliminated and Michael Malone was like, I'm getting on TV and I'm telling you that SGA is the MVP. He, to go and do that is so shameless and it's so hilarious that a dude that you won a championship with, that probably all year you were caping for, it's like, this guy does more than anybody in the league. He's the best player in the league. He's the MVP, all this, right? Shout out to Nicola. And again, as soon as they are at home with you, you travel to Oklahoma, you get on a flight to go to Oklahoma City to tell the world that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is the MVP. He was player hating and it was very funny. And so I think that out of this whole thing, I just thought it was a winner. It was very funny to me.
Yeah, brother, you get paid a bag, you get a new job real quick, and you get flown out. It was probably a PJ too as well. And you put on, they gave you a nice ass suit, give you a haircut
he
and
wasn't
all
on
that.
PJ. ESPN probably flew in first class for
a PJ.
For Michael Malone.
I don't know.
Hey man, they wanted to get them bars off.
Hey, listen, you want to talk about hating? Hating is alive and well. I have not been able to live on Twitter over the past 4 days since game 1 happened because I dared to say I do not hate Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And people looked at me and all they heard when I said I like Shai and I don't think he's the Antichrist, they looked at me and said, oh, okay, so you like Al-Qaeda. Okay, so you are a Nazi sympathizer. That's what people hear. Because Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is currently the most hated star we've seen since prime James Harden. And even that, I feel like there was more of a contingent of people who liked Harden and defended him. Shai plays in Oklahoma, and that is obviously not a big fan base. It feels like 80% of casual.
And what else?
And they're stupid and uneducated and all this stuff people are flaming them for. But it feels
Canadian.
And he's Canadian. There's that. So nobody likes Oklahoma. He's Canadian. He's alienated there. It feels like 80% of the casual NBA world hates Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and thinks he has everything wrong with the NBA. And to me, as somebody who's obviously become an OKC fan by proxy of saying I think they're good and everybody yells at me because they say I should hate them, so I become a Shai fan. I love this. I love every second of this. Mm-hmm. The way that people are so fuming mad that they're the team to beat, that they're dominating everybody, that they're just going to keep winning and we think win the finals, it brings me great joy. I used to get upset when there's dumb narratives about players I like that just weren't based in reality. Even as soon as earlier this year, I've spent so much time being annoyed by how stupid narratives that take this much of a hold on the public consciousness are. They're just not true and they're illogical and all this stuff. I no longer give a fuck. My third eye has been opened. I have reached Zen. I think it's hilarious. And I love seeing this villain arc.
Thank fucking God, bro, because you would talk to us all the time about how you're constantly getting harassed in your Twitter mentions by these random ass fans.
They still harass me. And they still harass me, and they're so mean to me. It's hilarious. Yeah. It's hilarious how mean they are to me because I like Shai.
You guys are mean to me.
But I love it. It's got to the point now where I'm like, it's so stupid, and and because they're winning, if they were losing, it would drive me insane. Mm-hmm. But because they're winning, I just take it in. I'm like, yeah,
I'm so happy that you said that because these SGA haters specifically,
great word.
These SGA haters specifically are the biggest losers for my list as well. Yes. Because they have the stupidest talking points, and you're right, it's just derived straight out of hate, which is emotion, and they just say the most illogical things possible. Specifically, over the course of the year, they've been talking about the free throw thing. The free throw thing is not a new conversation. It's been happening over the last 7 to 10 years or so, based off of the James Harden stuff, and so many other players have, taken a couple pages out of his book, and people see someone like Shai who's averaging 8-9 free throws a game and swear that's all his game is, and we just hear constantly The stupidest things ever.
Yes, and all of our points align well, right? So one, like, winner for player hating, loser for Shai haters, whatever.
Mhm.
Another one of my winners is 2000s legacies
Mhm.
because the fact that everybody is out here hating on Shai and saying like, oh my goodness, like he's unethical hoops, all foul baiter, all this stuff. This is literally a big part of Dwayne Wade's game.
Yep.
He shot 10 free throws for like 5 straight years.
In very similar fashion to the way Shai gets in line too.
Not even. It was more egregious. Like Dwayne Wade was literally pump faking, throwing his body into a majority of mid 2000 stars and people who are playing out of the mid post and mid range. A big part of their goal is like, if you are too close to me, I'm going to get you off the ground with the pump fake. And I'm going to throw myself into you and I'm going to get to the free throw line. Everybody knew it. Everybody accepted it. D-Wade did it. Paul Pierce did it. Kobe did it a lot. Michael Jordan did it. Like all of these stars throughout the entire history of the league did things that at this point, 2 years ago, the NBA got rid of. Yeah. They got rid of. That's what all the stuff that people were saying was, foul grifting. All that has been 100% in the fabric of the NBA. And now, but nobody's going to hate on D-Wade. Nobody's going to hate on Kobe. So their legacy is safe. And Shai is the one that's going to die on the cross for all of this.
Let's talk about this, though, because obviously we think it's silly, the narratives around Shai. We do not think Shai is the worst thing to happen in basketball. We don't think he's the worst to watch superstar in the world. But there's enough people that do that I can't come up here and say it's nothing. Like this many casual NBA fans, or not even, I shouldn't say casual, this many NBA fans, even hardcore, hate watching him play and feel as if he's given an unfair advantage to the point where even if I think it's mass psychosis and it's not based in reality, there's a reason these people think these things. So it would be unfair to say that they're pulling it out of thin air. Like we talked about my mentions being outrageous. Let's go through it and see some of these talking points. I made this tweet where I was talking about how Shai had a bad first half, but you saw how you can't defend him one-on-one or else he'll get to the line consistently and just beat you up, right? Yeah. He fouled Jamie Daniels out of the game, who's somebody that people consider an elite defender. I just pulled this random tweet, not the single him out. He said, bro, you can't fucking touch him. Nobody will last against his whistle. I will never respect him after this. And then I replied to this with saying, why do y'all think he gets a good whistle? Because the refs just like his vibe or because he's incredibly hard to stay in front of, which leads to fouls? And this led to an eruption of people saying I'm being naive and pretending that it's outlandish that refs give special treatment to some people. And it's just like, answer, why the fuck would the refs want somebody on the Oklahoma team to like get special treatment? Oh, and somebody's like, so you're saying Steph and Ja and all these other guys who don't get fouls are hard to guard? You really think the refs would favor an Oklahoma City player over Stephen Curry?
They really think the refs are Boomer Sooners?
Like, that is insane. Like, why would he get special treatment? Like, people really believe that.
I hate that term. Don't ever say that.
That's fair.
It's a hard one.
So I guess my question is like, why we got to talk about why he has a good whistle. And what is a good whistle? Because some people really think that a good whistle is just decide on like whether the refs decide they want to give you fouls. That everything is equal and some people have special treatment and some people are disliked by the refs. Yeah. That's how they think it works.
And I think, so like part of it for me, and even some of the people that I kind of look at and like know that they are like watching games on, are really involved in it. One of the major points is like, yes, he is getting fouled. However, so is everybody else in the playoffs. And so obviously we've talked so much about how physical these playoffs have been. And so part of it, I think, is you look at other games and you look at other stars, and some people feel like other stars are playing by whatever new rules that we are playing by. And then when it comes to Shai, some of the fouls that he's getting feel like regular season calls while everybody else is getting full-time playoff whistles. Mm-hmm. And so now you have 3-4 times a game where he's getting to the line on a call that is soft or wouldn't be called on the other end.
And so that's not outlandish to think that, though I think it is lazy because... Okay, so we'll use a comparison to Anthony Edwards. Mm-hmm. People compare that, and they're saying, why isn't he getting to the line? He's also a great driver. You also can't stay in front of him. There are tangible skills on why Shai gets these calls, and your other guys don't. You look across the league, there is no other star right now that is as good at drawing fouls as Shai. So this specific game one, there was a few questionable calls that were ticky-tacky, right, that you could say were just one of them got reversed even. So I'm not even here to tell you every foul he got was 100% in the right, whatever. Like there's going to be bad calls in a game. I'm here to tell you that shit is not indicative of some grander picture that explains every single call he gets. The reality is, I tweeted it and explained it this way. I said, he's the best in the NBA at creating really low driving angles that are hard to slide in front of because so little of his body is open to the defender. So people have to create contact with his arms because they can't reach his chest. And he has a great feel for generating all this. That's what it is. He is simply amazing as a driver and has a very specific skill set of generating these, like I said, low driving angles that you can't beat him to a spot because he's quicker than you and has longer strides than you. So you're trying to recover as a defender and you touch him. And he is amazing at doing the Harden thing that as soon as he knows you're about to touch him, he goes into a shot motion. You can, if you want to say that's unethical hoops, whatever, it's like on purpose. It's a skill that he forces people to foul him. Like, it's so different. If Anthony Edwards had that same feel, that same skill as a driver, he would do it as well. He doesn't have the footwork. He doesn't have the technique, doesn't have the feel. Just because you're fast and hard to guard does not mean you have the specific skill sets that lead to lots of fouls.
I think Ant has the skill set. He just doesn't go to it very much that very well. I think it's a mindset thing as well.
Yeah.
One of the greatest cheat codes to life is find something that you're goated at. Find something that you just can spam. And once you do that, life is so much fucking easier for you, bro, in general. And this exactly applies to this goddamn game and Shai's game specifically. Like you said, all those words that you put up on your tweet make so much sense, and it's the best way to break it down. But for people who just can't really digest that, he's just elusive as fuck, bro. He's so swift, and it doesn't make any sense because his game isn't predicated on necessarily explosiveness. But he's quick and he's super decisive with those moves.
But you said
and with
Ant
the
does
way
have
that Ant does.
No, he doesn't.
Statistically, he does, because when it comes to the amount of drives that he takes or blow-bys, he's so good at blow-buying any NBA player in the fucking world.
That's not the same thing.
But it's what he does after the blow-by.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's not the same thing. People will see that and they're like, so he can also get by guys, right? That's not the same thing. He's incredibly fast. He does not have the same maturation as a slasher that Shai has. Like, the footwork and the angles and ability to specifically get the defender in that spot and know how to make them foul you is not the same thing as being able to blow by a guy because you're faster and more athletic than them. That's an entirely different skill that does not translate to drawing fouls. Like, people think like you can't be guarded, you're good, should equate to drawing free throws. It's been the same thing with Curry forever. Curry is not as good at getting guys on their hip and getting into a free throw motion like that. Steph fans forever have been complaining about his whistle and why it's bad.
Because he was for the longest time. I'm right, for the longest time, and you could see it specifically on off ball stuff. And there is a certain part to this where for every player in the NBA, stars, role players, bench warmers, if I call every foul, we are not going to play the game.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody's fouling on every single play. There's always some level of physicality that you can look at and say, that is not in the rules. You cannot do that. Right? And so like the refs are in a position where they do have to also manage the game and make sure that like
it's watchable.
Right? And that is watchable, and that you're putting yourself in a position to where you can be consistent, at least within that game. Right? So you can't, like, if you're letting people play, then you let people play. If you're not, and you're being ticky-tack, people do adjust to that as the game goes on. Like, that's something that is like very, very real with the foul drawing stuff.
Yeah, and even for Shai, like someone said, like your point, people would say everybody else gets played through it, he gets it at a higher rate, is what they'd say. Mm-hmm. Shai gets fouled all the time too. Like, he does not get every call in the same way other people don't. He gets more of them because he drives the most. He has the most attempts there, so he'll get the most amount of fouls. But in the same way that you see Ant play through fouls, there's 1,000 plays where Shai does the same thing and plays through a foul and doesn't get it. There's just a lot more of a sample size that you're going to see more and feel like in like some kind of psychological bias that he's getting a higher percentage. He's not. The whole Denver Nuggets series, they were harassing him. Christian Brown and Michael Porter Jr. were allowed to hand check him all the time, constantly. He is playing through the same amount of physicality as everybody else. He, like I said, is just that much better at drawing fouls and has perfected that skill set more. So he's going to get more despite that. But he's also playing through more physicality than he did in the regular season.
I'll agree to that. I also think another thing, and listen, my star, does he do it sometimes?
There's this egregious ass clip that you showed me this upstairs. You shouldn't have done that. Jalen Brunson literally took, I think it was Aaron Neesmith's hand, and he took he took Aaron Neesmith's hand and he slapped himself with it. Yeah. I've never seen that before, ever.
It is egregious. What I'll say is, and with Brunson, and part of what I think is happening with Shai is the degree to which you sell the call is also another thing that elevates the hysteria around foul calls, right? Every time you see Jalen Brunson drive, you see him, snap his neck back, and people are like, "Oh, like stop doing that. You're trying to bait for the foul." Shai, there were screenshots where as soon as somebody's hand was on him, he's making faces, right? His head is going one way. He's acting demonstrative.
See, he's playing a game within
right?
a game.
You've seen it with Embiid before, where he's done it. You've seen it with Harden, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And so selling the call is also something to like that. Even myself, I'm like, I don't necessarily like want to see that all the time, because there is a certain part, and this is a very fine line. And I think when we talk about it all the time, where you're like, foul baiting is a skill and you should use it. And it's walking on that line and saying like, yes, it's a skill, but also like, come on, man, just play the game.
Yeah.
That's
the key point.
That's the line where you are walking as a star when you are going for calls and doing.
That's precisely it. I do not give a shit if you don't like watching it. You're more power to you, to each their own. I'm not asking you to stan Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Yeah.
I'm not even asking you to enjoy watching him. You can dislike watching him actively. Doesn't matter to me. Like, that's completely fair and valid. If you are of the opinion that you do not enjoy watching someone who sells calls, I get it. That's fine. Like, if that's your distinction, is he's a foul baiter that's not fun to watch, I have no argument for you. That's so subjective. That's perfectly reasonable. It's the people that seem to think that it's for no reason and like the league chose him to give him fouls, and they seem to think that, like I said in the beginning, this whole good whistle thing is simply whether the refs decide you get a foul or not, and it's not based on anything that's like having to do with the player and their specific skills. I just feel like you can hate him, but like understand why you hate him. You know what I mean?
You know what this whole conversation has told me? Mathematically, the United States of America is behind. This just doesn't make any sense, bro. If he goes to the rim the most out of everyone in the entire league outside of Jokic and Giannis, he's gonna get just as many calls, if not maybe even more, bro. That's all this tells me. And then another thing as well, that's just a funny caveat, going back to the foul baiting stuff and how you decide to fabricate that you've been fouled, or how you're just like, playing the game within the game and anticipating it. One of my favorite, I guess, motions is back in like maybe 2017, 2016. I think it started with Russell Westbrook. And then LeBron saw that, he stole that shit, and he got caught for it a couple of months ago. Is when they would just hold their face on the ground and just be like this the entire time. Russ started that shit, and LeBron, he carried that shit, and he still does it to this day. And he got exposed for it the other day when he was like this.
That was elite.
Doesn't have a lot of. He's not that egregious. On
that drive specifically, he did like make the face before, but also there's at least in game one, and we're watching it together. Isaac kept pointing out, he's like, like you can't even say anything because he's making the and ones.
Yeah.
He's making the shot anyways. And so if that's going down, that's fine. I personally love Shai. I have no problem with him. I don't think that he is an unethical hooper, because even if you take away all the free throws, he's still averaging like 24, 25 points a game.
Yeah.
It's elite scoring.
That's the part where it's just hysteria that people are mad about the aesthetics, because it's not logical at all to think that like either A, the team wins because his free throws, B, he's a scoring leader because his free throws, C, he's only good because his free throws. None of the outcomes make sense outside of I just don't like him, which more power to you, right? And the funny part to me as a Shai fan, as somebody who's watching this hysteria breakdown, is what did I hear in the regular season? None of that free throw grifting shit's going to work in the playoffs. He's going to collapse. They're not going to make the conference finals again because he's going to not be a good scorer because he can't make the free throws. He relies on that. Now we're here. Now it's, he's the devil. He's still getting these free throws. He's still tricking the refs. So first it wasn't going to happen. Now it's immoral. I don't know what the next evolution is when they win the title, but I'm assuming it's going to be like asterisk ring. He only got it because he's a foul baiter. Somehow they keep changing whatever the takeaway is on these fouls. And I love to see it.
I have something to admit. The stupid part of my brain
Nice.
actually enjoys a little bit of the conversation because it's fucking hilarious. Anytime, sometimes I'll be on Twitter and then someone would just be like, "I just turned on the game. Guess where Shai's at?" And it's just fucking hilarious.
That's they did that during the All-Star game, and it was funny.
Yeah, and again, part of again, I say I've much more zen now to this stupid stuff. It doesn't bother me as much anymore. End of the day, part of sports is haters and like people got to root against the people that some people support. So comes to the territory, you're one of the best players in the world. People don't like your style. It's fine, right? It doesn't actually matter. What I do think is whack is like Doris Burke being on ESPN and like talking about the foul merchant jokes and stuff. Like
so fucking hard.
That was so unfunny and just like adding fuel to the fire in a way that wasn't like even funny. So like it was just lame.
Yeah.
So that's where it becomes a little iffy is whenever these things get like propagated to be like the actual narrative around a player and in a way that like takes away some of the props they deserve. Still doesn't really matter at the end of the day, but overall people are going to hate and that's fine.
I love what Donovan said about a ton of the early 2000s players, literally D Wade, Kobe, Shaq, T-Mac, whoever you want to mention, they were getting to the line and doing all these types of things. What we have been blessed with, but also like damned with at the same time is just how overanalyzed and how overly exposed certain things of the game have came to be. Like back in the day, we wouldn't see or be able to like 10, 20 years ago, we wouldn't be able to 15 years ago, we wouldn't be able to see we didn't have the ability to rewind games with our own free will. We could do that obviously, but it takes a couple more steps.
I would go 10 years ago, but I know your point. At a certain point, you couldn't see how the sausage was made, and there wasn't as many people talking about things this granularly and understanding these things at this level and like having these hate trains develop because of that. There just wasn't the education there was back, especially like 2006, prime D Wade. You want to go 20 years ago? People would hate him now if he played today. They just were ignorant.
Exactly. In 10,
If we had Twitter after 06, where you have this young star who got to the line a million times a game,
he'd be despised.
And then it came out afterwards that the ref was betting on the game. Oh my goodness, D Wade would have no respect for the rest of his career.
Yep.
Like we spent like 30 minutes last week talking about how the draft lottery was rigged. If it came out legitimately that a ref was gambling on games, that's something where it's like, yes, the guys from the 2000s completely protected.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Next winner I have David Adelman.
Okay.
David Adelman is a gigantic winner. I think there's a general trend of this year, especially we saw like 4 interim coaches get hired without their team doing any type of coaching search, which in general, I'm not the biggest fan of. Like, I'm not against you hiring a interim coach. If you want to hire Mitch Johnson, go ahead. But I would, if I was a part of an organization, I'd probably want to see them do their due diligence first and look around, see who else is out there, vet candidates, do an interview process, compare them to the interim. If your end decision is the interim is the guy, great. That's ideal. He's in the door. You have an existing relationship. Everything worked out well, but at least do the process first. A lot of teams haven't been doing that yet. The Kings hired Doug Christie without doing that. And I was like, really? Like, you're that inspired by the second half of the Kings season that you're like, Doug's the guy? All right, I guess. I think David Adelman deserves that. I think he is the instance where he proved in the playoffs the defensive game plans he can instill, the buy-in he can instill in Nikola Jokic that trickles down to the rest of the team, the chemistry that he got out of them that Mike Malone clearly was not capable of, the effort he got out of them that Mike Malone clearly was not capable of, the fact that he was already a highly sought-after assistant that was doing interviews in previous years to get head coaching opportunities. He should keep this job, and I think he earned that in the second round.
Yeah, he definitely is one of the biggest winners. I'm with you. I'm always kind of wary about just hiring the interim because people are firing coaches a lot of times to try and create a spark. And sometimes that spark like works in the short term. And then, right, like players are listening to the assistant because it's a different dynamic between them and the head coach. Yeah. And you have this running and like, man, I'm glad Mike's out of here. And then we go through an entire offseason and now we're in December of next year and this is actually the boss now. And you have a different relationship with him and things don't necessarily go the same way.
What was that guy for the Nets that they did that with?
Jacques Vaughn.
Sometimes you get a Jacques Vaughn where it's like he was great for an interim at that moment. There's a reason he wasn't a head coach after that. You know, in previous years when you don't have that spark, you lose the appeal.
Yeah. But I think in the Nuggets case, I'm with you. I think the fact that you were able to see Jokic elevate to another level, and at least outwardly, we were able to see rises in leadership and all this other stuff, and hear that reporting, coming from Denver, that's something where it's very, very positive. And you also don't fire a coach. Overall, I don't think that Nikola Jokic had no, knowledge of Michael Malone being fired. And so you don't make a move like that without notifying Jokic in any way. And so the fact that we're here and the fact that Adelman is the guy now, I think it's okay for the Nuggets. And so shout out to him. He's breaded. He's about to get, this paper. And I do think it's a good move, because the Nuggets, their issues are much more roster construction, especially at this point, rather than coaching.
Yeah, I definitely agree with all the things that you said. He's easily one of the biggest winners of the entire playoff run. It's super impressive to see how much in turmoil this team was over the last 2 weeks of the regular season, and if this feels like a night and day team, damn near. And right along the same breath, another winner that I want to talk about that I have on my list is fucking Rudy Gobert.
Okay.
We all know Rudy Gobert is easily he's consistently one of the most hated, people that love to call him overrated NBA players. And specifically in the playoffs, that's where all the eyes and microscopes are on him. Everybody got their cameras out. Everyone's ready to press rewind, get that on the camera, post it on Twitter for any time he gets burned offensively or defensively. And so far the entirety of the playoffs, he's been so good defensively. He had a couple moments like every elite defender does, where they just they don't either shift quick enough or they just get burned. That's just the nature of the game these days. And for him to have plenty of highlight worthy plays, this is what Rudy Gobert is about plays, whether it be it's versus the Los Angeles Lakers or whether it be versus the Golden State Warriors. And we've even seen a couple plays in the series that you guys are going to talk about later between OKC and them. He was so important, and he was one of the biggest reasons why the Minnesota Timberwolves were able to remain in that game, because of his just simply presence and instincts when it comes to deterring shots. He's one of the greatest of all times at that. And this, although offensively, he's so wildly inconsistent these days, and I guess statistically too, it's worth mentioning.
He's not inconsistent at all. So he's pretty bad all the time at offense.
Yeah. And this season specifically, this postseason specifically, this is the worst that he's been statistically, and his efficiency's dropped all around. But if there's one thing that remains, the defense is as strong as ever, and that's all that matters on the court at the end of the day.
We're recording this before game 2 of OKC versus Minnesota, so you guys will have already seen our reaction earlier. This is recorded before that, so don't know how game 2 went, but I'll also throw this out there, hoping that he didn't have a terrible game 2. Julius Randle is also obviously a big winner of this postseason.
He's on my list as a winner.
We talked about this last week, so we don't got to spend too much time on it. Julius Randle had the reputation of a playoff dropper, and I'm kind of the opinion that a playoff dropper is an over dramatized idea that barely even actually exists. It's often just a label given off small sample size that doesn't actually mean they're systemically incapable of succeeding in the playoffs. But we have seen nothing but disappointment from Julius Randle in the playoffs. So I completely understood why people had their doubts. You at the very least, you didn't feel like he was a guy that was going to elevate come playoff time. He has played exactly as good as he did in the last 20 games this season, which he was dominant. Game 1 of the series against OKC, he had the first 5 threes he took. He had a dominant first half off of 3-point shooting. It was amazing. He played bully ball in the pass rounds. He beat the shit out of Draymond Green. Draymond Green won his podcast and was like, yo, he got it. I lost that matchup. Second time in my career. First it was Siakam in the finals. Now it's Randle. They kicked my ass. And it was true. Now he did well in game 1 against OKC as a shot maker. He's just a versatile player that we've talked about at length. The trade is working extremely well for the team. And shout out him for proving haters wrong.
Please have a good game 2. Please have a good game 2.
Yeah, maybe you guys are seeing this after game 2 and he got locked up by J-Dub. I don't know. But even if he does have a terrible series against OKC.
Overall, he's been great.
OKC might be the greatest defense in modern NBA history. So even if he does bad against them, I will not fault him for it. He kicked Draymond Green's ass, and that alone is worth it.
Facts. All right, too much positivity. We'll go with the loser, James Harden.
Okay.
James Harden has.
You're the only one who you didn't even ask for it. I bet you didn't even have James Harden on your list. Who the fuck is talking about
just beating a dead horse.
37-year-old Harden?
Just beating a dead horse.
Leave him alone. He's dead. He's in LA, damn near getting ready for vacation.
Stop shooting.
He's emptying the clip right now.
I know.
Fuck.
We're talking about the
Stop teabagging the body.
We're talking
He
about the
got
playoffs
issues.
as a whole, and James Harden.
Teabag.
He solidified himself as one of the worst big game players in NBA history, and it is kind of tragic because you did like over the last like year and a half, you've seen the revitalization of his career, and everyone like going from how it ended in Philly to like, wow, he's exactly what the Clippers needed, and he can be this distributor for their two wings. Paul George leaves, and everybody says, you know, this team is going to go nowhere, and he played well this year and had them as the 5th seed going into the playoffs, and then it all just comes crashing down. And I think like this was a year where the Clippers had an opportunity to not only get out the first round, but really start to change the tide of how people thought about the team and the organization as a whole. New building, new jersey, everything felt kind of fresh, and everything just kind of fell back into old Clippers habits, and he was a big part of that. And so it sucks, but if you are talking about the macro ideas that were taken away from these playoffs, James Harden being one of the biggest losers, it makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean that's it. We'll have to spend too much time on it, but it just had to be said.
I can't name him a winner of the playoffs. But if you just had to sprinkle that on, go ahead.
Go for it. Other biggest winner of the playoffs to me, New York City TikTokers. The guys who go around and film man on the street videos, farming views off of the insane people that live in New York. They're eating well this playoff run. The amount of like sidewalk talk and sidewalk talk adjacent ripoffs I've seen around the most insane people in New York.
What you talking about?
These motherfuckers are crazy. And if you're a person that does man on the street content in New York City, you're probably paying your rent every weekend right now. You're probably having the most profitable month of your life because these motherfuckers in New York are going crazy. The first conference finals in 25 years. I've never seen the energy on TikTok in the way that I'm seeing it at this city.
I'm not gonna lie, this is the most, since I moved out of New York last month, I've never missed it more than now, because I'm not gonna lie, I wish I could sit down and just experience the madness of New York Knicks fans feeling joy for the first, like genuine joy for the first time over the last, I don't know how many years.
I like it better when they feel despair. Personally,
that's cool too.
All right. Anyways,
so yeah, but even outside of New York TikTokers, New York Knicks fans in general are winners of this playoff run. Obviously, they it's kind of hilarious. I've never, especially if they make the finals, if they win this Pacers series, which is in the air, still very possible. I don't think I've ever seen a team whose fan base hated their team in the regular season as much as the 2025 Knicks fans hated the Knicks. I've never seen a team with that much disdain for their product make the finals. So it will be like the new poster child for a Cinderella run for a team that only talking point for the whole second half of the season was team's cool. They gave up too much for Mikal, too much for Cat. The team can't beat the Celtics. They went all in for a good, not great team. It's not going anywhere fast. They can't beat the top dogs in the East.
Yep.
And they just beat the shit out of everybody. If they make the finals, it will be an inexplicable Cinderella run that I'm pretty sure zero analysts across media besides Knicks fans predicted.
Following up with that, and that's why I have Leon Rose as also another winner on my list, because as an NBA GM, all you have to do is give your team the opportunity to win. Give them the best opportunity to win. Sometimes things ain't perfect. It's all about timing and genuinely like luck when it comes to certain things. And Leon Rose like rolled the fucking dice, and he saw someone like Mikal Bridges available in the market, and he unloaded the clip, did whatever it takes to land him on the roster just so the Knicks could have a chance up against the Megalodon at the time in the Eastern Conference.
Megalodon?
Yeah, which with the way that he was describing the Boston Celtics, you would think these guys are fucking the mafia, bro.
Do you know what a Megalodon is?
Yeah, it's a big ass shark. Yeah. What you mean? It's dead now, but yeah. They keep him trying my gangster right now, man. That's crazy.
Megalodon. He really did try you.
Yeah, he did try me. You're a nigga, knock the fuck up. Anyways, going back to Leon Rose, he's one of the fucking biggest winners that the league has to fucking offer, bro. Bro, I watched the movie. Fuck out of here. Anyways.
You watched the Meg on HBO Max?
10 out of 10. You know how I am sometimes, man. 10 out of 10. You know, and I did watch it during the day too. You know. My mind has changed. But seeing what Leon Rose did And the gutsy move of not only trading for Mikal Bridges, but also like doubling down and getting Cat last minute. It's gutsy. He's doing what it takes to win. This move could have easily like fell on their fucking face completely. It felt like that at times during the regular season when there's this infamous stat of, they couldn't beat any team that was one of the top two seeds in the East or Western Conference. So embarrassing. But for things to be working out in his favor or not, he's the winner at the end of the day because he did what he could do and he tried his best to maximize their potential.
And I don't even nobody was wrong for doubting the Knicks in the regular season based on what we saw in the playoffs. It just shows you that, end of the day, you can make all the assumptions you want. What matters is the outcomes. And sometimes it has so little to do with preconceived notions. It's who executes. These motherfuckers are executing. So they're playing who's in front of them and they're winning. So it's not even like a takeaway do we got to rethink how we think about these teams? No, they're just getting it out the mud and they're finding a way to win when on paper maybe they shouldn't. Does not matter. You play the game to win and they're doing it.
Right. Exactly. At least they were doing it.
On a similar note to Leon Rose, one other winner I have we can spend a little bit of time on. Kevin Pritchard, the GM of the Indiana Pacers.
Oh.
This team is a poster boy for never tanking. They are exactly what the Chicago Bulls wish they could be, and they're in back-to-back conference finals, could be in a finals this time next week. 0 tanking years, 0 top 5 picks. Their only top 10 pick in a long time, I forget the exact amount of years, is Benedict Mathurin, whose ass is glued to the bench. Actually, no, he's playing now, but is coming off the bench for them. So they get a couple big picks. They do not really contribute to why they're so great. And they're still doing it, still getting out of the mud. The Tyrese Haliburton trade was obviously one of the best trades we've seen in a long time. There's a little bit of time where people were like, win-win. The Kings they're also good. Sabonis is also just as good. No, it was always a insanely stupid trade. The Tyrese Haliburton side of it is the winning side of it, no matter what you get from those few years of the Kings. That was a stroke of genius. Getting Nesmith was a stroke of genius. Getting Siakam was a great deal we all liked at the time. They had some rocky bouts. Started this year when Tyrese Haliburton was on fraud watch, when he played really bad because he was dealing with injuries. It got spooky. It was like, damn. That's all you can really say. But now they fought through that. Everything's working. It is just a masterclass of how to build from the middle and operate as a small market team. It has to be smart because you're not going to get the luxuries that other teams have team building wise. You'll never get a number 1 pick to give you a star. You'll never get a star in free agency. You got to figure it out by doing all the things you can, the vehicles at your disposal to find value. They've done every single one of those and it's worked.
That's why Tyrese is on my list as a winner. And again, this is the last good thing I'm going to say about Tyrese Haliburton for the next week and a half. But Tyrese Haliburton and the way that he has completely silenced everybody this year, and to go back to where he was a year and a half ago, leading the Pacers to the championship game of the NBA Cup and the in-season tournament and all that, and him ascending during that time, and then to come out after the playoff run last year, after the start this year, and now fully leaning into, you guys hate me, I don't care, right? Like I am one of the best point guards in the league. I'm one of the best clutch players in the league. This team operates with a whole bunch of guys that on any other roster, like you'll look at Nembhard and be like, oh, he's good, but you're never thinking about Nembhard in that way. Aaron Nesmith was a throw-in, right? In the trade with
traded his ass for Malcolm Brogdon.
Yeah.
Right? He was just a piece. And now he's with this team that is fueled by everything that Tyrese Haliburton does. Legitimate pieces. He elevates everybody around him. He's elevated himself and his game into now, like, you can say whatever you want about Tyrese, about his standing in the NBA, top 15, top 20, whatever. You have to, like you said, it's about the outcomes and it's about winning. And the Pacers are winning games and they are winning series. And the fact that they might be in an NBA final, the Indiana Pacers might be in an NBA finals with Tyrese Haliburton and Pascal Siakam, who are good players, great, right? All-star caliber players, but not the typical setup for, best player on a championship team or best player on a finals team. Like, that doesn't really happen a lot. And to have this type of consistency and winning and success, shout out to him, shout out to them, because it's amazing.
Dude, going back to what you said, again, shout out to their GM, because their GM and their entire, like, honestly, developmental staff as well. They've done an elite job just continuously putting the Andrew Nemhards, the Miles Turner, who's been there for 1,000 years, it feels like, Benedict Mathurin, Obi Toppin. They just know how to get the most out of every single player on this roster. And of course, I'm giving a lot of credit to someone like Tyrese Halliburton as well, because it starts at the top, and his style of play is so wildly infectious. How I view him, like, he doesn't have like it's hard to say what Tyrese Halliburton can do these days, because every single time you say something like that, he goes ahead and doubles down on it. But when it comes to how a lot of people view him, he doesn't feel to the common eye like an otherworldly threat like a Steph Curry or Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and guards like that. But he is like the ultimate like oiler for a machine in my mind. He's just continuously like pumping up his squad in every way imaginable, and when he can give you some, which he had a lot for the New York Knicks the other night, he does that. A loser that I had on my list was the 14 players who voted him as the most overrated player in the NBA last month.
That was such a blown out of proportion poll. It was absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah,
and you said 14. I thought I heard 9 was probably the number.
I heard it was 9. I think. And it's so stupid because it's we don't even know who voted him. It's not even like, it's not like LeBron and Kevin Durant were like, yeah, Tyrese is overrated. Like it might be some bench warmers. Like, and it probably
I swear
was.
to God, we could, if we really wanted to, we could sit down and bust down a investigation on who voted Tyrese Halliburton as one of the more overrated players by just looking at Tyrese Halliburton fights, bro. And I swear we gonna see it. We can easily scope him out that fast, bro. Yeah. But seeing what Tyrese Halliburton has been able to do throughout the entirety of the pro season, hell, dating back to last year, just goes back to what you said. Vindicates, and I bet like Kevin Pritchard's his name, correct?
Yeah.
He feels like the man right now, going back to the Pascal Siakam trade, making all the small moves, drafting right with Andrew Nemhard and all that. Like,
on a similar note,
guy.
Let's flip it. Last loser I want to talk about today before we get to TikTok time. Patrick Riley of the Miami Heat is one of the bigger losers of this playoff run, because obviously the Jimmy Butler fiasco. He won the power struggle. They got Jimmy Butler out of there. They said, we're not paying you. You're acting an ass. We don't want you in a part of our organization. We're going with Pat Riley and Heat culture guys. We're betting that we have the infrastructure around you, that we can empower Tyler Hero, empower Bam Adebayo. They'll carry us just as far, and we'll figure out the rest later. Those motherfuckers carry them exactly nowhere. The Pat Riley style, the Pat Riley guys carried them exactly nowhere. They lost their defining star of the last decade because this old man alienated him, because he single-handedly ruined the relationship with Jimmy Butler and made it a dick measuring contest to see who would win the power in the organization. And Pat Riley won, but he also goddamn lost, because that new direction leads you nowhere fast, and I don't see how they're going to find the next star that sees the Jimmy Butler thing and how it played out and says, yeah, I want to be in those shoes.
I will say, I get it though. Granted, he was hurt, but if you see the way that Jimmy Butler played towards the end of the playoff run, and then you say, we're going to add another year, right, onto what it is, we would have looked up in 2 years and been like, I can't believe Jimmy Butler is making this amount of money in Miami. And so on that principle, I'm like, you know what, Pat, you got it. Because I don't think that Jimmy Butler is a guy that in 2 or 3 years you'll feel good about having as your number one star making, $50, $60 million a year. And the Heat, they've done it before. I think all of this, I'm trying to figure out the nice way to say it.
Yeah.
But all of this, it just depends on like, how are you looking at Pat Riley's timeline and how are you interpreting it? And if you think that he has a good sense of the timeline for the future, cool. If not, then that's probably where you disagree. But outside of that, I think the decision was kind of sound.
I mean, okay, so I think in general, the decision to not want to tie yourself to Jimmy Butler long term, I guess, is sound. If you have a viable alternative, they do not. So if the alternative is you be nothing for 2 years and you're too good to tank but not good enough to do anything of note, you'll probably keep Jimmy Butler, I think. But that I understand that's debatable.
Yeah,
I understand that that's a debate. You could argue the quibble with the age of Jimmy and whether or not this year was indicative of who he is for the future versus the injury, whatever. That's fine. If you don't want Jimmy Butler, okay. You said they've done it before. They found a way to retool. That was because Jimmy Butler wanted to play for Pat Riley and wanted to play for Miami. I have very little faith that a star in 2025 will want to play for Pat Riley. You know, I don't know the guy. I don't know the inner workings of the organization. I don't know what free agents think. So all it takes is one guy to prove us wrong. Last time we counted them out, all it took was Jimmy Butler to prove us wrong because he decided he wanted to go there and make it happen. So same thing could happen, I suppose. But I find it hard to believe that if you put the next 30 stars that become available and you poll them on, do you want to play for Pat Riley? I bet more would say no than yes. And I don't trust the ability for them to feasibly make something happen again.
Overall, I agree with you. I think you are correct, and I lean towards your way. But hey, Giannis did do a Q&A the other day on Twitter, and he did say, I think, his favorite city to play in, outside of Milwaukee or whatever, is Miami. So
he said New York.
Did he say New York?
He said New York.
And Miami. He said a few. He said like the big markets. Yeah.
I will say, as somebody who has heard this story before, I don't give a damn what they say on Twitter. They can say New York. They can say Miami.
Yeah.
They not going.
Yeah.
They're not going.
And again,
they will lie to your face.
And if he does, and if Giannis does say, I want to play for them, they shut me up. They fix all of that, right? All it takes is one guy deciding he wants to play in Miami, and Pat Riley's, you're willing to deal with it, right? So all it takes is one. I don't feel great with the chances for them to get that one in the next 18 months or whatever it would take to make this make sense.
He has everyone has like some level of stink in the NBA, and Pat Riley, he fucking reeks right now, bro.
Damn.
And it's disgusting because he's like, it's an old reek too, just stuck up in his ways. Guys like D Wade and Udonis has him over here like, yeah, bro, he's just stuck up in his ways. Like Pat is just like that. D Wade was over there on his podcast talking about how, I think it was back in 2017 or something like that. Or 2017 or 2016. I don't know. But he was talking about how he had to leave Miami just for a quick second because Pat was fucking tripping and didn't want to pay him what he had to pay him. And that's why we got a disgusting era of Dwayne Wade over there with the Bulls. So I just think that he needs to probably retire soon.
Yeah, well, we'll see. And I sprinkled that in there for the Heat fans who say we never talk about them. Yeah. Let me tell you how I feel.
You're paying attention. He cares about you.
With that being said, that is our biggest winners and losers of the playoffs so far. I think.
Soldier, arm up.
I don't want that. I think it's TikTok time.
You want a green one?
Nope, I don't want any of them.
Oh, he's going unarmed. I got you guys. We move.
Welcome to TikTok time. Today we're going to begin by showing you horrors that are beyond your comprehension. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you two NBA players, faces combined, and I want you to guess who the players are.
Just two?
Just two. We've done similar things in the past where we combine entire starting fives. It worked a little bit differently. This is slightly different. These are ones that we made. We didn't get them off the internet. Sometimes there's famous ones from back in the day off like Twitter and stuff. These are ones that we made that our graphic designer in-house, Andrea, made. Mm. So all I'm going to say is, just let me know what you think.
Let's go.
Let me know who the players are.
I'm terrified.
Name the NBA player face combo. First off, who are these two players?
Oh my God.
Okay. There's a couple things that come to mind.
He kind of looks like, but I'm sorry to say this.
I'm thinking.
You know who he looks like?
Looks like Donovan?
Yes. What the fuck?
Come on, man.
It looks like you.
Come on, man.
Look at the eyes and the eyebrows,
Come
brother.
on, man.
Literally take your finger and just
like
look straight at the
Can you play
eyes.
the game the way it's meant to be played?
I'm sorry, Mr. Smoot. This might be you.
I'm guessing Karl-Anthony Towns and Donovan Mitchell.
No.
Incorrect.
This is not Karl-Anthony Towns.
Andre Drummond and Donovan Mitchell?
Incorrect. I'll say this is Karl-Anthony Towns. Who's he combined with?
I think this is Cat. And then I also smell some stank also. And it smells like the smelly streets in New York. I think this is Carmelo Anthony as well.
This is Cat and Carmelo Anthony.
Fucking you. Ew. Ew.
This is Cat and Melo. Y'all see it now?
Yeah, I see the
kind of
like neck a beard. Someone on Twitter the other day, did they call us a bunch of like...
they called us neck beards for defending Shai. Elite joke.
There you go. Cat and Carmelo. That's an easy one.
Man.
We started with one that was rational. I think you could see that and see the faces. We start on the easy note. We got to get you guys' blood flowing. Who is this?
Bro, this man handsome. What the fuck? Hold on, wait, Andre. You made a cook just now.
First of all, there's this TikToker that looks just like this. I forget his name.
What does he make TikToks about?
Bro, this is handsome Squidward. This is yassified.
This is okay. So Kobe's in here.
Yeah, that's Kobe's head.
Kobe's one.
This is Tupac. What the fuck are you talking about right now? Word 2. What the hell?
So we made Kobe more handsome. What does that sound like to you?
Shit. You need to stay away from my girl and my mom. What the hell's going on, man?
All right, man. He's a little too attractive.
Let's go Kobe and Shai.
This is Kobe and Shai.
What the fuck?
We made Kobe have aura.
No, this is outrageous. This is like some actor, man.
It looks like he's yassified. Like he put a filter on him to make him handsome.
Yeah. It's hilarious.
It looks nuts.
Dude, what the fuck?
No, he does look like an actor. It definitely looks like an actor playing Kobe.
Yeah, exactly.
Shout out to my East Africans.
Who is this player?
Ooh.
Oh man, he looks like he's been stripped of all kind of things.
Who are we looking at?
This
Dude,
is tough. This
Is just a new person. It doesn't look like anybody combined. This is just a guy that could exist.
He looks like one of them ambiguous Cavs players.
All right, this one is hard.
Like
I look over and like at first glance I see it and instantly I start thinking about like JJ Redick, but it's not.
JJ Redick, and then for some reason I feel like Michael Carter Williams.
That does look like Michael Carter Williams. That's the outcome, but it's not Michael Carter Williams or JJ Redick.
I am genuinely like lost as fuck right now.
I'm lost.
This is the hardest one to me in terms of getting it right.
Yeah, like he literally looks like a.
It's kind of like a Joakim Noah type of.
It's Joakim Noah and
Yes.
Austin Reeves.
Yeah.
Yes, that counts. That's a W.
I got one.
Yeah,
Bro.
I was about to say it feels like Joakim Noah, but I couldn't tell with Austin Reeves' face.
This
man.
is insane. This is just another guy.
I would never have guessed Austin Reeves.
This is a GameStop employee. This is like a
right.
dude.
Looks like one of the
GameStop
30
people.
draft picks that the OKC has right now.
This is like we say this joke a lot. This is the definition of a 2K generated player.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. It is.
Not real.
Oh wow.
Who is this?
Bro, get this mutant out of my face right now. He looked like he ate fruit without peeling it. I should have said that song.
He looks like he went through an accident.
Yeah, and we try to stitch him back together.
NBA Frankenstein.
That motherfucker just eats straight tubs of mayonnaise, man. What is wrong with this guy? Oh my God.
All right, one of these people is Draymond Green.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah, it's Draymond Green, the chinless man.
Who do we add to make him fucked up?
Okay, I'm gonna go Draymond Green and
Okay. I was gonna say Ben Wallace or something.
I didn't mean to reveal it. We got Draymond Green and Dennis
shit.
Rodman.
Oh man, this is so bad. Whose beard is that? Is that a Draymond beard of the past?
That's neither from B.
Yeah, just do that on there.
The picture of Draymond on the left isn't the one that was used to
Okay.
combine them. It was
I was
a different picture of Draymond. So it's Draymond's beard.
That's hilarious, bro. His ears just poking out like that got me dead.
It looks like Shrek.
Yeah, just so misplaced.
Little balloon knot ears.
Oh wow.
Like a cartoon piglet.
Oh my God.
Oh my, this one is no words.
Dude, I'm crying.
Who is this player?
Don't do my goat like this. Don't do my goat like this.
Wait, he looks like he belongs on Dr. Seuss, literally. One of them dudes over there with no lips.
No man.
Oh my God, he looks like a wannabe Teletubby in the face. Like,
His eyes are so glossy. He looks like an anime character.
yeah, he looks one of them.
Steph Curry and Derek White.
This is Steph Curry and Derek White.
Nightmarish. Holy shit, man. This
Nah,
is the
man.
monster that was under my bed when I was younger.
This is hilarious.
Nah, this guy's sending me the finest of shawarmas. The finest.
White sauce all day, brother. Keep on going.
Hey, yo. That one's, you guys got that one easy. Okay.
Oh, shit.
Who is this?
Oh, man, he looks like an NFL. I swear I've seen someone like this. Who, bro?
Looks like Kenneth Walker.
He looks like it. Oh, my God.
Oh my goodness.
Man, the legs on that boy is crazy.
That looks like a cornerback. What was his name? He's playing the Steelers back in the 2010s. Oh, that looks like
Corner
somebody.
on the Steelers in
I can't
2010s.
remember. I'm trying to think, obviously. Father, son, Bron and Bronny.
This is Bron and Bronny.
I thought that was DK Metcalf. What the fuck? God damn.
This looks hilarious.
Yeah.
It's Bronny with like wider eyes and a big nose.
Oh my god.
So Bronny got his mom's nose. This is him with his dad's nose.
Yeah. That's just Bryce.
Exactly.
No, this looks like in those 2K videos where they fast forward a league and you see like a 40-year-old version player. This is 40-year-old Bronny.
Oh man.
Look, that's a more tame one. You know, kept it in the family.
That's cool.
Who is this?
Joe.
He be repealing cars all day, man. I know this kind of guy.
He looks like Hakeem Olajuwon.
This South Beach so for real.
South Beach so for sure. Hakeem is crazy.
I feel so good because I keep getting one, but not the other.
Yeah.
Base, we're going Anthony Edwards.
Correct, obviously.
Yeah.
Let me shoot first. Is this Joe Dumars?
No, it does look like Joe Dumars.
I was thinking Joe Dumars.
Yeah. Damn.
It definitely looks like Joe Dumars.
But the sides of his head is so absurdly small and skinny.
His face is definitely like giving 1980s for some reason.
Exactly, like Clyde Drexler is a little bit. I don't know what it is.
He has a military cut.
And
They weren't allowed to have hair in the 1980s.
is it Wilkins? Is it Dominique?
No, it's not Dominique.
Whose eyebrows are these?
Is it Hakeem?
No, it's
Is
not
this
Hakeem.
is this old Doc Rivers?
This is Kevin Garnett.
Devious picture of Kevin Garnett.
So it is a devious picture of KG.
I was never gonna get that.
Yeah, I was never. I forget he had hair, bro. That's crazy.
This
For like a
looks
year.
nuts.
This honestly is the most real person.
Yeah, that's another guy. No, this is Joe Dumars. Like this is him.
Yeah,
when he was born.
exactly.
Who is this?
Oh, this is evil.
Earl
Sweatshirt.
Sweatshirt.
Yeah.
That's the same thing I said when I saw this.
Earl,
Yeah.
man.
Man,
That
he is
big ass mustache.
on his steez, man. Holy fuck.
That is an unnaturally large mustache.
he got thorax ready at all times, bro. Holy shit.
Oh, shout out to Earl.
Fuck. Shout out to Darius Garland. That's obvious for sure.
New father coming up.
Yeah, this is Darius Garland. And who do we combine him with?
Who got that thick ass mustache?
It's just so
Where's
absurdly
that mustache
thick.
coming from?
It's Velcro.
It has to be. This has to be somebody completely old school. Nobody has mustaches this thick anymore.
You'd be surprised. Could this be like,
I'll say you would be surprised. This is a modern player.
is this like Jimmy Butler in 2020?
No.
Spencer
fuck.
Dinwiddie?
No.
Yeah, that's a great guess.
Look at the
That's a great
eyebrows.
guess.
This is a famous player. Quite a well-known player.
Famous player, quite well known.
Feature him in videos all the time. I'd say he has aura.
And he has aura.
I'd say he's like an aura originator, maybe.
Fucking originator. This ain't Anthony Edwards. The fuck?
No.
This ain't Shai.
Think back. An originator of the modern aura trend.
Magic?
This is Kyrie Irving.
Oh, Kyrie, man.
I forgot.
That ACL tear is beating his ass, bro. I just saw him streaming the other day. What happened?
This is definitely just Earl sweatshirts.
Yeah,
No,
that,
it
is,
100%.
This is just straight up Earl sweatshirts.
that is Kyrie too. Damn. The
Man,
nose is
what-
frying me.
Why do you make that one song? East. Why do you make East?
Why do you make East?
How's
do
it
you
go
make
like? How's it sound like?
It's like
Deep
clown,
fried.
It's like clown music.
Really?
It literally is. I'll play it for you after.
Who is this player?
He can smell everything, man. Holy shit.
Again, I can get the first part. I can carry the first part. Ray Allen.
Oh, I got you.
Okay, you got that part. Yeah, this is Ray Allen. Who's he combined with?
Ray Allen's cool. I know who this is. But I just hate that this is him. I don't want to believe
He
it.
looks like a marathon runner in the Olympics from another
Yeah,
country.
I could just imagine his chest all the way out, bro. He has a bird's chest if I see one for sure. Fuck, man.
You got it?
This is Ray Allen, yes.
Who's the other guy? I have a
Again?
name. I have a name.
I can literally smell who this is too. This is an African. This is an African.
Got your radars going
I
crazy.
see it. My radars are going off. This is Giannis Antetokounmpo.
This is Giannis and Ray Allen.
So I can smell him.
This looks crazy. This looks like an Olympic distance runner.
Oh God, it does.
This looks crazy. Again, another real person. This looks like
Yeah.
another guy.
That man
Yeah,
is
what's
East
his
African,
mild time?
for
What's his
sure.
mild time?
He's small.
So racist. You know, I actually looked up.
He
the
killed
other day
800.
Why they're so fast? It's crazy stuff, man.
I don't get into eugenics over
I'm
here.
not
Next
going.
up, who is this?
We'll talk afterwards. What the hell?
Oh, it's one of your
Yo,
cousins.
No.
What's good?
You know what this is? You know what this is? This is the Count off of Sesame Street.
Oh my
That's
god!
the vampire.
No, you know who this looks like?
A Goomba. from
Thomas.
Mario?
What happened? Oh my god!
Oh, our friend Thomas.
Yes. This looks like him.
Thomas G. I won't put his whole government out there. No, this is a Goomba from Mario. I can jump on his head and bounce up.
Oh my god.
All right, we either got the Giants together or we're putting a big and a tall. This is Boban.
This is Boban.
Yeah,
This is Boban. It's either Boban with Peyton Pritchard or Boban with Zach Edey.
It's Boban with Zach.
Yeah. Boban looks so weird without his neck, his long neck, man. His face.
It's a puppet. Like it's a cartoon character. This is a Muppet.
Dude, he literally looks like an IRL version of the evil
IRL.
dude on Despicable Me.
No, I was gonna say he looks like an animated character come to life. You ever see
Exactly.
like a Pixar character and they put like a filter on it if you look like that in real life and the proportions are all fucked up? That's what this looks like.
Yeah, exactly.
Like he's the
bro.
grandpa from Up.
Go back to your universe, man, please. You're not welcome here.
You are hand drawn. And that's the last one.
Oh man, these are
Those are good.
ridiculous. What the hell, man?
Horrors.
It looked like he's selling some. I know he just has the finest line of illegal stuff under his coat.
I did not know where you were going with that.
He didn't know either.
No, I did. I just didn't want to use the words.
Next thing we're gonna do, I'm gonna show you some NBA stat lines, and I want you to guess who the player is and what year.
Okay.
So, but they're not from just this year. It's from across NBA history, so it's a little more
That's
difficult.
so hard.
It's not terribly hard, I think. I gave you some hints for each one, so it should be possible if you guys have a bag.
Keep your confidence up. I got you.
All right.
Keep your fear to yourself. First off, who is this player? We have the stat line in front of you. The hint, the 2010-2011 season.
9 points, 5 rebounds, 0.0 or 0.7 assists.
37 games played 15 years ago? You
Fuck,
suck.
I don't remember this.
15 years ago, they played 37 games. You want me to guess this? And he was like, oh, it's not bad. Shut up.
It's really not that bad, honestly.
It's not Derrick Rose.
Derrick Rose in 2011 is 9 points, 4 rebounds.
Well, I'm saying because he like got hurt or whatever. But I mean, 37 games played.
0.7 assists.
Okay.
It's a big
55% free throw rate. 0.5 assist to turnover ratio.
This man was
His ass is not a playmaker.
good, man.
one block a game though.
He left here with something. One block. He got his ass on the stat sheet.
Who's
every
that
night.
old 6'5" center? Chuck Hayes? Is this him?
No, it's not Chuck Hayes.
Man.
What?
Oh my goodness.
Only 37 games played. What's
Damn, Ian
there's
Mahinmi?
signs here.
I don't know, man.
You guys aren't trying hard enough. There's signs here.
So we have
He's bad at free throws. He played 37 games in 2011. His ass is not a playmaker. He gets a block. It should be coming together.
is this Shaq?
This is Celtics Shaq.
Oh, shit.
I was gonna say it's not that hard.
Okay.
Don't sell right away.
Okay, that makes
Who's
sense.
trash? Who's trash?
I'm showing you the pinnacle of washed. You got to get this right.
This picture's so crazy. He is humongous at that time, man.
You see that
He
picture
is
of Perk
special.
this weekend?
All right. Calm
I
down.
thought it was fake.
Next up, who is this player?
Okay.
The hint is 22 assists in a game that year. 18 points, 10 assists, 4 rebounds, and so forth.
Ah.
Okay.
Yeah, 22 assists in one game. Walking,
43%
double-double,
from
18 and
three.
10.
55 from 2-point range. Okay.
0.8 steals. See, instantly I wanted to think of Chris Paul, but the 0.8 steals is a little bit low for Chris Paul.
He was a steal leader
Yeah.
during his peak years.
43% from 3 is like,
Sniper.
yeah.
Who has the assist record in the league? It's an old
Scott Skiles.
Scott
has it.
Skiles. Yeah, okay.
Well, that was 30. Was
Yeah.
the assist record, not 22.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
different beast.
I just had to lay my head along like
Has
league
Trey had
records.
22 in a game?
He's never averaged 18 points. Well,
That's too low for Trey.
yeah.
Has
and
Tyrese done it?
Is this Tyrese Halliburton?
This is not Tyrese Halliburton.
Okay, this is not.
See, it's
Tyrese
too many
Halliburton.
points for Rondo. I'm trying to think of.
Hell
all the-
no, it's not
That's what I'm
Rondo.
saying. I'm trying to think.
22 assists. Is
Also,
crazy.
the 4 rebounds would be too low. 43% from 3. has to.
Is this
Yeah.
Steve Nash?
This is MVP Steve Nash.
Okay,
That makes sense.
that
See,
should've
the
been
steals
easier.
threw me off too because
Yeah.
I always thought of Steve Nash still being like a one steal game type of guy.
Not no 6.
Yeah.
He was
All
running around on defense. Who is this player? The hint, 9th in DPOY voting, 33 points per game, 3 50-point games, 11 free throws per game, 33% from the three-point line.
33%. That lets me know. That lets me know kind of what era. We going Kobe Bryant here?
This is not Kobe Bryant.
Damn.
3 50-point games.
Get 9th in DPOY voting. That's your hint.
In what year? So like obviously 9th in DPOY. He has to have some type of like reputation for being a good defender. But 3 50-point games doesn't just happen.
That's a lot. It's hard to do.
That's so many.
9th in DPOY. It's so crazy.
Maybe did LeBron?
Is this
LeBron
Giannis?
Nope, not Giannis.
LeBron never did.
Is this Joel Embiid?
Go ahead.
This is MVP Joel Embiid.
There we go.
He shot that low from 3?
Yep.
Yeah, he was gunning.
11.7 free throw attempts. I'm surprised you didn't see that and think
Yeah.
Joel Embiid.
Yeah, immediately I'm like, Giannis.
We were
Embiid
having a conversation earlier about how the All-Stars like kind of, got the free
Yeah.
throws up. So I was thinking more there. Okay.
Yeah, but 3 50-point games sounds crazy.
And he had like 11 40-point games. That year was ridiculous.
I remember he would have.
Did he go for 70 the year he got MVP?
No, it was the year he
after?
would have won and got hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, when he gave Wemby 70.
That's such a historic game.
Crazy. Next up, who is this player? 15, 8, and 8. Your hint is 11 3-point attempts total this season.
Huh. This for this year? Or you mean that season?
No, like that
Okay,
season.
gotcha.
That season. So yeah, you gotta tell me the player and tell me what year it was.
16, 8, and 8 is like
See, I've been making it easy. I haven't been telling you guys to pick the right year. But
2 steals. That is
16, 8.
2 steals, 1 block. They do everything.
they do a lot.
They do everything. 11 3-point.
Is this like 2015 Draymond Green?
No. Draymond Green shot a hell of a lot more than 11 threes. In the whole
11
year.
threes in an entire season. That's like 90 stuff.
That's like nothing.
And so
it's
like,
like 0.1 a game.
see, and I wanted to go Scotty, but like maybe Scotty scored more than this. 11 threes total? And they
It's
do
not
everything?
a large amount.
This is a
This
15?
is
Big
t-
guy.
this is tough.
15, 8, and 8.
this is a big guy.
It's a large man. Not the biggest man,
8 and 8.
but he's got some size to him.
2 steals.
girth.
Some length.
He has
Look,
some size.
not as much girth as he had at one point. Well, actually, yeah, it's a similar amounts of girth, but he's long.
2 steals is crazy.
I'm lost in the girth and tonnage. I have no idea.
Too much
This is
girth to
rookie
give
Ben
away.
Simmons.
Fuck. Damn. Yeah,
No,
I was
we're
thinking
selling,
way,
we're
I
selling.
was thinking way back in time.
We're
This
selling.
was not a hard.
See,
too hard
that's what I'm
one.
saying. We could not fathom the amount of non-shooter that he was.
Yeah.
It's like he couldn't have been anybody in 2018.
Do you know how good you gotta be in order to be a fucking all-star, taking 11 threes a game and not being a center?
As a point guard, like
As a point guard, that's crazy.
You are so fucking good.
Next up, who is this player? 31 points per game, 6 rebounds, 2 assists. The hint, these are stats from August 2020.
August 2020 that's bubble time.
Yeah.
So
Is this Tyler Hero?
This is not Tyler Hero.
Okay.
we're going TJ Warren.
This is Bubble TJ Warren.
Damn. I just had to throw out an outlandish name. You threw out an even crazier one. Good.
Bubble TJ Warren was a
Special.
different animal and the
Special.
same beast.
God damn.
Yeah, August 2020. You should have got that.
This is 1 week
Yeah.
average. He went absolutely berserk in those 7 games.
It's insane, bro.
52% from 3. His ass was not missing.
It was crazy. Bubble hoops was at the same time the realest hoops and the fakest hoops
Yeah.
simultaneously.
Okay. Who is this player? 5 points, 6 rebounds, 1.2 assists. Hint, 2012 season.
Started every game, scored 15 one single time.
That
That's
Big
on the
Perk?
single time. I thought it was
Big
Kendrick
Perk.
Perkins.
That's big.
It's
Perk.
2012 Catchy Perkins.
This is the Kendrick Perkins.
Shout
stat
out!
right
Shout
here.
out to Kevin Durant's tweet. It's like, bro, you averaged 2 points that whole series. Don't talk to me.
This is his regular season stats in 2012.
Scored 15-1.
He was there every game, though. He played
time.
65 games, started every single one.
Best
Iron Man.
availability.
Iron Man.
Exactly.
It's even better than scoring points. Who is this player? 15, 7, and 6. Hint, he made $45 million this year.
Whoo, man.
45 million is egregious.
It's a lot of money
It's so egregious.
for 31% from 3, 48% from 2.
See, initially I want to be like, oh, this is Aaron Gordon, but he didn't average that many assists. He did not do that. He is getting paid it back, but still not him.
Who are the biggest deals in the league? Start pocket watching, please.
This has to be a new-ish player. He's not the greatest 3-point shooter. He's all over the place.
That's calling it lightly.
Scotty Barnes?
No.
Oh, no, not Scotty Barnes. This is not Franz Wagner. He averaged way more than 15.
$45 million is insane.
It's a lot of money. Y'all naming young players. $45 million is outlandish.
Okay.
You don't get the shit on your second contract?
Yeah,
third contract. Over the
no.
hill. It's an over the hill kind of guy. We kind of got to name it, but
come on.
If you think about the old players in the league, the people who are at the tail end, not even the tail end, because you wouldn't get 45 at the tail end, but like, who is getting this?
Is this some?
But like they kind of all around. It kind of feels like it's like a Jimmy Butler.
This is Lakers Russell Westbrook from 2023. The last year on the Lakers.
Yeah, I wouldn't have got that.
Yeah,
I was not thinking 2023.
I'm not gonna lie. That 3-point percentage fooled me.
It was too high.
It was too high. I was looking for the 20. If it was 28, I would be Russ instantly.
Yeah.
So I'm like 30% sniper. This guy's killing it.
Next up, almost 30 points, almost 10 assists, 36 points in an elimination game. Hint, this is their playoff series averages in their playoff series debut.
Who?
Ant? This
is not Anthony Edwards. 10 assists? Come on. In his first playoff series?
Oh, I'm tripping.
See, I would be like, oh, this could be Paolo, but the assists are a little bit too high.
A little bit. It's 9.8 is tough. Again, this is their playoff series debut.
Damn, this dude was fucking diamond shit. 29.
The first year he got to the playoffs, he did this in a series.
This is Donovan Mitchell?
This is not Donovan Mitchell. 10 assists per game. Get your head out of your ass.
Man.
Was Trey doing this in his first year?
This is Trae Young against the Knicks in the playoffs.
He was killing.
First time he made it, he eliminated them.
He looked so different in that picture.
It's the beard. It's the beard.
Wow.
He was cooking the Knicks. 29-10.
Wow, this feels like it was 10 years ago, man. Bring me back to those days. I haven't had to think about the Hawks for so long. It just made my day a little bit worse.
And he was
y'all was going up against Alec Burks and Reggie Bullock, man.
Hey, it is what it is. And guess what? In that series, we were voted against.
We were the 4 seed.
Way,
we were the 4 seed out east.
And y'all got embarrassed.
Correct. Bye-bye.
Wow.
I'll never forget. 35 and 13 and 5. Hint, this is a playoff series average.
62% field goal percentage, 20% from 3.
Giannis.
This is Giannis in the finals.
Damn, he saw 20%. Not Russ, Giannis.
This is 2021 finals averages.
Yeah. The 5 assists is like good enough playmaking.
Yeah.
But 35 and
14.
14.
13 and 60%.
That's Shaq numbers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What a ridiculous
2
stat line.
blocks a game.
He was a god. 20
on
points.
a hyperextended knee is.
And that. 25 and 5. The hint, this is the 2003-2004 season.
Yeah, 20 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists.
30%.
29% from 3.
29% from
43% from 2. 2003, 2004.
Who is this player?
43% for 2 is tough.
It's not good. It's not good at all.
He was wildly
I
inefficient.
need the wildest inefficient shot checker.
Is this a bad Allen Iverson year?
Nope.
Huh.
This would be an egregious Allen Iverson year if it's 2004.
Yeah.
He's not young at this point.
It might be killing me. The 1.6 steals is killing me. 2003, 2004.
This player must be washed at this point.
I think so.
Oh, this is Michael Jordan.
This is not Michael Jordan. Hell no.
Fuck.
1.6 steals is still like kind of crazy though.
Inversely, this is rookie LeBron James.
These
Okay.
are fake stats.
Makes sense.
I need you to wipe this away from the internet.
Hey, he was a rookie. He was a rookie.
I thought you were gonna. I thought it was gonna be rookie Melo.
Oh, no. Rookie LeBron. Rookie Melo, 6 assists a game. Yeah,
That's,
right.
Yeah, that's all I was like.
Yeah, right,
Not
buddy.
even on his best day, man.
What was his highest season for assists? I don't even know.
I guarantee
sure.
it's no more than 3.
Yeah, it's definitely higher than 3. It's probably like 4.8 or something.
No, for Melo?
3.
Usage rate wise, 3 is
assists?
outrageous. That's crazy. You think he's Michael Porter Jr.?
All right, we'll see about that, buddy.
Pull it up.
I'll pull it out right now.
Hey, yo.
Yeah, the most he's ever gone is 4.2.
Okay.
But his
right,
career
there's not
average
3.
is 2.7.
There's not 3.
His career average is 2.7.
well, it's held down by some pretty bad years at the end. So
Even in his prime years, it's like no more than 3.2.
He's a bucket getter extraordinaire.
I am
bro.
correct.
You're not correct. You literally weren't correct.
I had 2v1 again, and I won.
You weren't right.
I was correct.
But by definition, you were not correct.
I was literally correct in his prime years.
You said couldn't have been more than 3.
You used the word literally, and we need to get back to words meaning something because you literally were incorrect.
Oh wow! In this 07 year, he averaged like 3.8. That's his second career high.
Yeah, we've already said his career high is 4, so you already lost.
Thank you. All right,
I
next
won,
time.
Move on. Next thing we're going to do. Let's talk about Jalen Brunson. I'm going to name some NBA players, and we're going to see who was better, them or Jalen Brunson right now at his peak. So we're going to cross NBA history and compare him to other guys, other point guards, and kind of gauge how good he is.
Shit down.
We're
man.
here.
Level
We're here.
1, is he better than Darius Garland's
Hands
peak?
down, don't disrespect me. It's not a conversation.
Yeah, this is a sweep. I'm sorry.
Listen, we got to start somewhere easy. I understand.
This is not even a conversation. Yeah,
Level 2, prime John Wall.
Yes, he's better than Prime John Wall.
this is a conversation though.
No, it's not.
2017 John Wall. It was a better defender, obviously.
Better
Better
much
passer.
better passer. Better rebounder. He wasn't the better shooter.
He
Finishing-
averaged like 35 in a playoff series.
John Wall was not leading his team to the Eastern Conference Finals. We'll say that.
Come on.
I agree with you.
Thank you. It's
No,
Jalen Brunson.
it's Jalen Brunson, but we had to up the ante a little bit, I guess. But Jalen Brunson, obviously, what he can do as a scorer in the playoffs, next level, different tier. Level 3, Jalen Brunson or Donovan Mitchell this year.
He's better than him right now. And it's like, yes, D. Mitch took a step back in the regular season to let everybody else eat. And yes, we did see him score 48. Jalen Brunson went on a run he just had 40 the other night. Like, don't act like all the Jalen Brunson stuff is just made up.
This is pretty tied. I'm not
He's
gonna
out
lie.
here. Stop it.
This is pretty tied.
Stop
This
it.
is the closest one, obviously. It's level 3. I think Jalen Brunson is like the 9th best player in the world right now. And I don't think Donovan Mitchell's ever been that high. I think he's been like 10th, 11th, 12th. He hasn't quite broke into like solidified top 10. I don't think it's crazy to say Jalen Brunson. They're both scorers. Jalen Brunson has been consistently a better playoff scorer in the last few years. Passing is not a big difference. Defense is not a big difference.
Sent him home 3 years ago, too.
There's that. Back-to-back Eastern Conference Finals says something. Actually, no, he's not back-to-back.
Over the last, because of the year that he's had again, and also making it to the Eastern Conference Finals, I'll give it to Jalen Brunson. But it's not an easy conversation at all.
No, it's definitely tough.
You have to think about it. It's not so easy.
No, I actually don't have to think about it.
I don't think about it that much either. I definitely think Jalen Brunson, but D. Mitch deserves consideration to stop and think, even though the answer is Jalen Brunson. Level 4, Tony Parker. Do you think Brunson could have been as successful playing next to Tim Duncan? Do you think Tony Parker could have led the Knicks to the conference finals?
100%.
That's a great question.
It is like a different thing because I mean, listen, Tony's been a Finals MVP.
Yeah,
like he's been that good. But I do think having Tim Duncan and being able to play off it, I think Jalen Brunson would be able to play off of Tim Duncan.
Yeah, I definitely agree too.
He would thrive in that role. That would fit very well.
Yeah, Tony Parker, his shot diet was so based and centered around getting to the rim, just
They're kinda
like
similar,
Jalen Brunson.
yeah.
Tony Parker's this is the most under talked about thing, and damn near in NBA history for me. Like he's one of the greatest mid range shooters ever, and Jalen Brunson, he's not that obviously, but he's very, very good at that as well. He could be in those conversations.
In the playoffs, he's damn near. Like his in between game is outrageous.
Exactly. So I'm gonna go ahead and say, yeah, he's better than Tony Parker.
Yeah, and this comparison is kind of like a two-part comparison because of what Manu was able to do. Because like Manu was also on the ball, the creative one in that offense, and so seeing him being able to be a craft, very basic level comparison, but like a crafty lefty who can score off the dribble and do all these things. Yes, Jalen Brunson can also fill that role and be good.
Dude, he's eating so much. We didn't talk about Manu Ginobili. What does he have to do with this? Tony Parker, move on. God, we get it.
It is Brunson though.
This one's close. People are going to be mad at you, but I understand it. Jalen Brunson, I think we can feasibly say, would be just as good of a second option next to Tim Duncan. We're seeing him do it as a one option. In ways that a lot of superstars that we big up haven't succeeded, Jalen Brunson is succeeding. So it's not crazy at all.
Exactly.
Level 5, is he better than prime Damian Lillard?
These are real conversations.
This is where it stops for me. I think Damian Lillard, 2023 Damian Lillard is different. I'm going Dame.
just to see how Jalen Brunson time and time again in similar-ish situations when it comes to the role offensively. Dame, here you go, get us a bucket, dice people up in the pick and roll. Jalen Brunson, he can get his buckets on his own.
No, don't even do that. Don't even do that. Don't even do
the playmaking gap
is big, and don't even do the Jalen Brunson. He's succeeding. He did not have to go to war with CJ McCollum against the prime Golden State Warriors. The level of competition they face is different. Dame had to see the buzzsaw that was the 2010s Western Conference.
I don't think that's
different.
The greatest angle to look at.
That's the only angle.
Competition. I'd rather talk about like the players within themselves.
Well, yeah, obviously I think he's a better player, and the reason he doesn't have success with Jalen Brunson is because he had to face the Warriors.
He went toe to toe with the Boston Celtics. They were up 3-1.
Yeah, okay. If you want to hold the Celtics to the same regard as the 2018 Warriors, go for it.
For now, I'm going to lean towards Damian Lillard, but I think the best version of Damian Lillard is literally one of the greatest players of all time, and I'm withholding that for now when it comes to Jalen Brunson. Damian Lillard was he ever in an MVP combos, like fake MVP combos?
Yeah, 2020, a few times. In 2023, it gets forgotten about because it was the last year on the Blazers. He had like a 63% true shooting, averaging over 30. It was one of the best offensive seasons from a guard ever. The team was just not good enough to have it mean anything.
Yeah, exactly. And because of seasons like that, Brunson just hasn't had that just yet. So I'm going to lean towards Dame.
I'll take Dame.
Hey, if the Glaze had to stop somewhere. I understand you're on top of the world. I didn't give you Halliburton because I know Halliburton's obviously better.
Yeah.
Is
he?
That's disrespectful.
I just want to rage bait him. Okay. Next thing we are going to do. Let's talk about the best NBA white boys in the league right now. We're going to put the top NBA pasty princes into a tier list.
Fun fact. The other day, I did a Ancestry.com thing, and I found out I'm 99.9% West African, but there's a 0.0 decimal point in there that showed that I am English too.
Oh.
Word to Meredith. Shout out to you. Paying homage.
Who the fuck is Meredith?
It's one of my great aunts.
White woman?
Yep. Word to Meredith. She's English.
Word to Meredith.
Yep. Shout out to you.
R.I.P. Word to Meredith.
We shot our slave masters now. That's crazy.
We're going to put the top white boys in the NBA.
She was a mixed lady.
And we're going to do this with only American white boys. In the past, we've included European guys. They're not in the conversation today. It is Caucasian males, American players only. So limited pool. Obviously, the best white boys in the league are from Europe. We're not talking about them today. We'll talk about them in the future.
Yeah.
So S through F, you guys know how this works. Let's take a lay of the land and see who the best are in this lane.
Okay.
Number one, let's start. Austin Reeves. Where are we putting him?
S tier. He's damn near. There's no all-stars here just yet, I believe. Austin Reeves is the closest thing to that.
Okay, so like Chet's on here.
There is all-stars. Or there is a all-star on here. But nevertheless, Austin Reeves is comparable to the all-star that's on here that we'll get to later. So I don't think it's crazy. It sounds insane to say Austin Reeves S tier, but the talent pool of NBA white boys right now, not counting Europeans, is quite light that he might be in the top 2 or 3.
Cooper Flag, save us.
Us?
I could say us now. I don't know about you, but me, I could say us.
Dude. I'm okay putting Austin Reeves in A tier or S tier.
I think he belongs in S tier.
We'll go S.
Yeah.
We'll go S.
Okay. It's a hilarious way to start the list, but it might pan out. Alex Caruso.
Very good.
Right? If you ask me right now, I'll say S tier. Alex Caruso's on top of the world.
One of the best role players in the NBA. To me, it's an A tier.
I agree. Put him in any situation.
If S is somebody that you think could make an all-star game one day and A is right below that, Alex Caruso is as valuable as any non-all-star.
I agree.
And,
A tier.
And that value makes me want to say S.
Nah, we don't got to go that far.
Come on now.
S is crazy.
I mean, it's not crazy at all.
For Alex Caruso?
It's not crazy because Austin Reeves is S tier. It's not that insane. But
that's what I'm saying.
The
pool's not like.
Yeah.
But in terms of stardom in my mind, white boy stardom, I think Alex Caruso.
Well, yes, I mean he's on like the Lakers, but like if you
Lakers aside,
if you take either one of them and put them on like a random 45 win team, you might see the same like bump.
No, Austin Reeves is a better shooter for that. If you put them, I think the real point for Alex Caruso is if you put both of them on like a contender, Alex Caruso might be more important to winning a championship.
I don't know, man. Would OKC be better with Alex Reeves in there instead of Austin?
No, they wouldn't.
Well, actually, they really could use Austin Reeves, so maybe
they would be.
But that's
better
because
in
they
my
have
mind,
Casey Wallace and J-Dub and
they're
Dort.
devoid of
That's
offensive
different.
talent.
That's a
So
different
it's
conversation.
hard
But not
conversations.
everybody has that setup. So like if you just
Yeah.
if you put them on a team,
If you put them on the Milwaukee Bucks, do they have a better outcome?
You're naming teams
I
that
guess
have no
that's a
ball
better.
handlers.
Yeah, I guess it's
Timberwolves on the Timberwolves. Austin Reeves or Alex Caruso.
Okay, we're naming a lot of teams, but I think Austin Reeves might fit better, so maybe Austin Reeves is better.
Fuck that. Let's move on.
Dante DiVincenzo.
He's stinking this bitch up right now, man.
He's not having a strong playoff run, but obviously he is still a really good role player. He just hasn't been good in the playoffs. But we've seen a lot of good days
He's
from him.
not. If you asked me last year, he probably could have been in the same tier as Caruso because he was shooting last year.
Yeah.
It's not the case this year. We're dropping down to B tier.
Okay, that's still generous. We'll give DiVincenzo the respect. We've seen him have good years. He is still one of the coldest white boys on this list, but he can't be top 2 tiers.
I agree.
Walker Kessler, defensive extraordinaire. You ask Danny Ainge, he's worth like 5 first-round picks.
Do
Where
I
does he
care
go?
about that?
He could be an A.
Probably.
Could be
No, he
an
cannot.
A.
No, he
cannot.
cannot.
He has
Fuck
an
no.
opportunity.
No, he cannot.
Out of your
What?
mind.
Out of my mind.
Out of your mind. Out of your mind.
The way his name has dropped in the NBA world is crazy.
He's teetering between B and C.
I think he's firmly B. I think C is too far. He is a great young
That's
player.
fine. That's fine. That's the class.
Yeah.
Those are the 2 levels where it would be any type of acceptable.
Okay.
And like you said, C's a little bit too harsh. I'm going B.
Yeah, just
Wow,
Alex Caruso, A is for one of the best role players in the league.
Okay.
Walker Kessler could become that. Let's see him earn that first. Hopefully
Oh,
be on a competent team one day.
Surprise, surprise. I was projecting.
Yeah, what do you know? Donovan Clingan, another similar player, big rim protector.
Shout out to him. I like the promise of Clingan.
He's a C for now. He's a rookie. Just unfair.
I'll go D.
Yeah, he'll be.
I think D is like, oh, you're actually like,
He's gonna be
not that good.
he's a really good defender already. His hands are just made of stone. He's not good offensively.
Yeah.
I feel like C continue down is a good way to go, but he could be lowered.
Yeah, I think D is like, yeah, bro, it'll be tough for you to get like any real minutes in the league. And
Yeah, D is
put him
like
on any team in the NBA right now, even right now in the playoffs, he's getting minutes.
if F is you suck, D is like you got to prove to me you deserve to play in this playoff series.
Yeah.
C is like you're cool, you're fine, you're a player, you're in the rotation.
Yeah, you're like the 11th, damn near 12th man if you're D.
Yeah, D's a little tragic. Grady Dick.
Is that
He's
D?
so hard to gauge right now.
Yeah, he got hurt, and he had a really strong start to the year, then kind of fell off. Grady Dick can be D right now.
Is
He's-
that D? Is that like you still have to prove it to me?
Yeah, Grady Dick, he's young. He still has to prove it to you. Well, actually, maybe he should be neck and neck with Clingan. They're both young. No, but I feel better.
Clingan's defense is more
Yeah.
tangible than what Grady has
Yeah.
shown offensively.
Yeah, I feel good about Grady Dick's future, but for this season, I think
Hey.
Clingan's defense is better than Dick's offense.
He did start off the season really well. I think he was averaging like near 19, 20.
Yeah, it was like
or
7
whatever.
games and it fell off.
Was it 7 games actually? I don't know about that one.
Well, I
Chief.
mean, the average was probably lasted longer, but like he had like 10 games of being really good.
I remember seeing his efficiency drop like a month.
Yeah, because after those first 10 games, he came back to earth.
Damn, is D really like feasible? I don't think D's right.
We have
Because
to-
he's very much a part of like the future for all. He could be part
Who
of the
cares?
future for every team.
There you go,
Okay,
projecting.
then in a couple years we can move
Yeah,
him up
who
to
cares
B.
about
But
the
like,
future? It's how good he is right now, and
Yeah.
he's not that great right now.
Is he better than Don? So Don McLean is like that much better.
I think so.
A whole tier better.
yeah,
No good. If Grady Dick was on a contender, he wouldn't play right now.
Wouldn't play?
Yeah,
No,
if you put him on
he
Thunder, he wouldn't play. Isaiah Joe barely plays. Isaiah Joe is better than Grady Dick right now.
Thunder is wild again.
Yeah,
true,
we got to
Yeah, okay, he's a bad gauge for sure. We keep doing that.
TJ McConnell.
Oh my god, I love this guy.
TJ McConnell is a goon. TJ, so he has all the dog in the world, all the cachet in the world. What you want from an NBA white boy? TJ McConnell checks all the boxes.
He
tries hard.
personifies that, man.
He tries harder than everybody. He plays the game the right way. Sneaky athletic. Has the IQ. He's not A? Is he? I'd probably rather have Dante DiVincenzo still.
Yes, but
He might be A for me, man.
the fact that you
Get
are
outta here.
listen, the fact that you are
He's a
just
stand-up
the
guy.
perfect mascot and embodiment of NBA
Mm-hmm.
white boy. Whatever you are, up a tier.
Okay, so he's probably C as caliber player, so we're going B because he has the cachet of
I'll
being
do
the
that.
white boy.
I'll do that.
Okay.
They're doing you so
he still-
dirty right now.
He
I got
still has
outvoted
the belt.
again.
He has the belt of the white boy.
Okay.
I agree.
Okay.
The belt. Ooh, I love that.
Kevin Love still on a roster.
We need to do that. We need to make sure like we keep track of who has the white boy belt.
Yeah.
Who you said?
Kevin Love still on a roster, still kicking.
Still on the roster, but you are an assistant coach, sir. I'm
He
putting
can be in damn near D or F.
Okay, we'll go D. The veteran leadership means something.
It does.
It does. You're
Yeah,
right.
F is me.
You know what? I appreciate what he's been doing on Instagram. When it comes to the veteran leadership, I don't even know
I
about
don't
that
even run
because
it.
that team is fucking in the dumpster. So I don't know how much that is valuable, but the amount of laughs and chuckles that he's been able to get out of me on Instagram, 10 out of 10. The memes, 10 out of 10. Even through the most serious of times, 10 out of 10.
Brandon Pajemski.
See, he had a rough start.
Yeah, but
to
a
the
great
year.
second half of the season. He's back to being the player that they thought he could be. He can be a starter for you.
He belongs in B if you ask me.
Yeah, I think B.
He has so many like valuable intangible skills. He can put him in almost every scenario situation in the league, and he's going to be useful.
Yeah, he's not one of the best role players in the league, but he can be a starter on a good team. He showed that.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody on here can.
Yeah, whether it be the defensive self-creation.
We'll go B.
Yeah, he's just an all-around dude.
We'll go B. He does have some dog in him too.
Let's talk about somebody else who is a contender for White Boy of the Year, Christian Brown.
His come up was massive. At this point,
The dog in him is outrageous.
Damn.
one of the best transition
There is a
players.
Labradoodle in that chest.
Labradoodle.
There's a golden retriever barking.
No. You don't want the golden retriever.
Why?
Because they're too friendly.
Oh.
Okay.
That's not.
What is it? He's a black lab then?
Yeah, like black lab.
Why gotta be black?
That's the opposite of a golden retriever.
Trying to say the black lab is more aggressive?
Yes.
100%. Listen, I
Fucking thought this was.
I don't do the breeding.
Is that actually
that's
true?
That's not me.
Fucking thought this was.
But
We just
Christian Brown,
talking.
but Christian Brown, he B at the lowest.
Okay.
It's
I
weird
wanted to put
at
him
the,
in.
at the lowest. He really did step up in the Nuggets. When we talk about like you have three legitimate players, it wasn't Michael Porter Jr. Christian Brown was one of those guys.
Like he probably could be A, but how much of it is Jokic tax? How much of it is he's really good playing off of Jokic?
I can't blame him for his situation.
I think he deserves A. He's a better role player than these guys in B. He contributed more to winning this year than the guys in B.
Let's
I
go
agree.
A.
That's fair. Yeah, he's definitely closer to Alex Caruso than he is to Brandon Pajemski, I think.
Yes.
Well,
I don't know.
Nah, probably not. But
I don't know.
he just gets over A.
Yeah, he had a great year.
He's deserved A, but it's your chain. We're diamond testing it every year. We'll see where you fall next year.
you could very, very well be in B tier for sure.
Peyton Pritchard. This is a guy that everyone says, give him his team, he can get himself to A tier. But as a bench player on the Boston Celtics, where do you put him?
He just won 6th Man of the Year.
He did.
You kind of got to give him A.
I think you do.
Yeah, easy. This is the easiest A ever.
And he embodies everything you want from a white boy, like you said with TJ McConnell.
He might.
Really, he don't. He's so like
Too swaggy.
Do you see the way his dribble package is?
He is a little.
He's too cool.
He's
He
too
is
shifty.
a little bit too. He's too cool. He's too shifty.
He has a low cut, bro. He
Listens to too much rap.
yeah, he got earrings.
Yeah. Very, very Fab Five coded. I'm gonna go.
He dropped like 92 points in like one of them random off-season leagues in like a Drew League or something like that.
I've heard him say bruh before.
Yeah, it's not.
Can he even make this list?
Who?
Peyton.
Oh, he's
Can he make this list? Is he a
You're asking me if Peyton Pritchard is too black to make the white boy list?
yeah?
I think
Where
A
were we
tier is
about
fine.
that?
A tier is fine.
A tier is fine.
Where were we
fine.
at that?
Kevon Herter.
He's been so fucking bad over the last
Nah,
few
he had
years.
a good second half of the season with the Bulls when they made a little run. Kevin Herter was heating up a little bit.
Guess what?
That second half does not enough.
Nobody believes in that second half.
His name is not Kevon no more. You are Kevin.
Yeah.
You are Kevin Herter.
I'm going C.
C is great with me, man.
Yeah.
I thought y'all were gonna say D. But okay.
Nah, we've had a long.
He could be. Yeah.
Okay.
It's fine.
Duncan Robinson.
I love the podcast.
Shout out to you.
He's like in and out of the rotation all the time. But a lot of times when he's in it, I'm like, oh yeah, Duncan Robinson's pretty good. But he's so inconsistently in the rotation that I'm like, there's probably a reason for that.
Sounds like F to me.
F.
No.
In and out the rotation. Don't really play.
There's
I don't-
nothing consistent going on.
Listen,
in
we
Miami
can
right
move
now.
some people down.
I don't know how much different Duncan Robinson is than Kevin Herter.
Yeah, no. I think
Again, we
he
can move
belongs
some
in C
people down.
tier.
We can move some people down.
Who do you want to?
At this point, we're just picking on Grady Dick for no reason. But I think we go C tier for Duncan Robinson and Grady Dick's just D for no reason.
You guys just don't like Grady, man. That's crazy.
No, I'm just trying to get an even distribution. There's nobody in F. I feel like we should put somebody.
I didn't put any of the bad players on here. I should have. I should have included some bench players. Okay. Tyler Hero, the all-star on this list.
Oh, he's S.
Only All-Star S tier.
S tier.
Easy S.
Currently, he has a title for best white boy, I suppose.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, actually, Chet Holmgren. Not an all-star. one of the best defensive players in the NBA.
Yes, but offensively, Chet Holmgren, he's getting his chain tested every game.
You would think, but he averages the playoffs like 15 and 10. So it's not as bad as it looks. But man, when it's bad and you see how weak those legs are
It's
post
bad.
hip break, it's ugly. But also, he's still a great defender. We know next offseason when he comes back without the broken hip, he's going to be fine again.
His lower body strength is so
It's so bad.
comical at times.
It's
It's like
hilarious.
a gust of wind could just take him out anytime,
Dude,
bro.
there's been so many times where he goes to dunk and he just can't jump high enough. And he can't finish an easy dunk because you can tell.
And it's like, you're 7'3".
Yeah.
But like,
he's
no.
40 pounds.
Bro, he broke his hip and came back in the season. There's no chance he was doing any lower body exercises for like 5 months. His shit is going to be so much stronger next year.
Yeah, we'll go S tier.
S tier
S tier.
easy.
Is he currently the best white boy in the NBA?
Yes, I will give him the crown over Tyler Hero.
Yeah. But let's have some fun. Cooper Flag. Where does he walk into day one? We'll put him on the list.
See, now he walks in.
Day one, okay.
He walks in with a lot of expectation.
Yes.
He walks in arguably not even arguably, he is the great white hope,
Yep.
right?
The main event. One of the dopest nicknames also, too.
There hasn't been a white star that has had, like white American star that has had the pressure of a franchise quite like him. Like he could be kind of the first one since Larry Bird to really be carrying a franchise like that.
I think he probably is going to walk in S tier.
Walk in S tier better than,
Caruso, yeah.
yeah.
I think he'll walk in somewhere around as good as Austin Reeves.
It's impressive.
You know what? Let's do it.
We can put him
Let's
S-tier.
put Cooper Flag in S
He's
tier.
going to be
call
an
us-
amazing elite wing defender that is going to be a great weak side shot blocker. He can be a 3-4 for you. I think his shot will be fine. He'll be a good rim runner, cutting off of Anthony Davis post-ups. I think he'll be an elite role player as a rookie. S tier for
Sounds like
fun.
the ultimate connective piece at just 18, 19
Yeah,
years old.
I think he'll
Put
give
him
you
in
like
S.
the prototype of what Caruso brings, but with more juice and a 6'9" body.
More
Obviously,
juice.
obviously, he won't have the like genius IQ defensively as Caruso, but I think he'll make up for it offensively.
Okay. Put him in S.
And now we have a good distribution. We got 4 S tier, 3 A tier, 4 B tier, 3 C tier, 2 D tier.
It's not bad.
Is there anyone last minute that we want to put in F?
Nah, I feel.
Oh, you want me to just pick a shitty role player that's white?
Who's the worst player here?
Kevin Love's 90.
Put him in F then. He does nothing.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
W tier list, I guess. Shout out to F.
That's the end of that. What do we got left to do? Oh, okay. I want to do a little bit of number association. I want to name an NBA number, and I want you guys to tell me the first player that comes to mind.
Got you.
So, just who pops in your brain when you hear this number? Who wore it? Whatever it means to you. Number 0.
Russell Westbrook.
Tyrese Halliburton. Jeff Teague. Really is Jeff Teague. Really is Jeff Teague.
I don't
I'm being
think
real.
Jeff Teague thinks of Jeff Teague first when he hears number 0.
So, well, Jeff Teague, if you don't think you have fans, you're wrong. I'm one of them.
Okay.
No, I think I'm going. It's Russell Westbrook, and then the second name that I thought of was Gilbert Arenas.
Jason Tatum popped up for me. No, nobody else thinks about Jason Tatum?
Not at all.
Hell no.
When I close my eyes and I picture Jason Tatum, I don't see anything.
Okay. Number 1.
Derrick Rose.
Ooh, number 1. Who do I think of?
Listen, whoever was wearing the number when I was 12 years old, that's who I'm going to associate it with.
Is Zion number 1?
Is who?
Zion?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's Zion.
Okay.
You didn't even know.
I don't know about number 1 is such a weird number.
It is. I have a hard time picturing number 1s as well.
Yeah, I feel like I just think of QBs when I think of number 1.
Who do you think of as number 1? Is it QB?
Cam Newton.
Yeah,
Oh, of course. That's the QBs you know.
exactly. Immediately. Trying my
Okay.
gangsta always, man.
Come on, man.
No, I'm saying I couldn't remember number 1 as a QB.
No, you said that's the only QB I know. That's where you're trying my gangsta.
No, that's the one that you love to talk about. It's your favorite QB. That's the only one. I know you know who Tom Brady is.
Who's that?
No, but you just love Cam Newton. That's what I'm saying.
It's
I
Cam
gotta
Newton.
get on my talks.
It's Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I got a
Number
new
one.
QB. Who's my favorite? But we can discuss later.
Who, Michael Penix?
No.
Charged.
Fuck no. That's so charged. the fuck?
Charged.
Ew. I should beat him over there with 1,000 to death by 1,000 crayon lashes. What the hell? I think he's gonna have an
Penix is
outstanding
wild.
year next year, but goddamn. Have you seen the arm on him? But goddamn, I'm still not a fan.
I said it because of Atlanta, but it also was funny to say Charlotte.
I seen him play like 2 years ago, like in college, or 3 years ago in college when he was in. Never mind.
Yeah.
I actually like Michael Penix. But okay.
Yeah, he's
Number 23.
Michael Jordan, obviously.
Pussy.
LeBron James. You hear me?
Yes, I heard you. Yes, I heard you.
You see the way he stuck on his tongue?
Did I rewind the tape that stick on I don't even know if I did. I don't know if I did. I don't think I did. But I'm going. It's Michael Jordan.
It's not Michael Jordan. It's LeBron James.
No, Michael.
No.
Jordan's 23
Nuh-uh.
in red jersey. That is the most iconic jersey
Nuh-uh.
in NBA history.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Nuh-uh.
Can you prove it?
Yes.
By what measure is it the most iconic?
Let's go outside. Let's ask some people.
Nuh-uh.
Okay, let's go outside. But this is the wrong city to do that. But we could do that.
We can. If we went outside in this city and asked people what the most iconic, it would be Michael
Why
Jordan.
would you choose this city?
Because that's what we are.
That's exactly. You have the advantage. You have the home court advantage. We're in Chicago.
Either way, LeBron has moved jerseys several times. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you can look at Miami number 6. You could look at Cleveland 23. You could look at the Lakers, his number 6 before. Like, Michael Jordan's
Sounds
23.
like LeBron has more gravity when it comes to his 23, if you ask me.
It's Michael Jordan, and it's not really close.
Okay. Number 34.
Shaq.
Hakeem Olajuwon.
I
Giannis.
definitely think of Shaq first. But
Yeah.
In terms of branding, I definitely think of Shaq first.
Yeah, Shaq easily, and then I think of Giannis.
No Hakeem love.
No Hakeem for some reason.
He just froze. So you're not going to say his name?
Yeah, I'm just like, shout out
Just
to
no.
Hakeem.
Just no. Just,
I mean, Hakeem is the third most famous of that
Yeah.
group. So, I mean, it's not crazy.
Well, he's probably second.
No, Giannis is definitely
More
but,
famous?
I mean, these days at least.
I mean, yeah, that's fine. Shaq, yes, I think of 30. Shaq has the whole spectrum of like 32, 34, like 33. Did he ever wear?
And even
Yeah.
even aside from these days, I think Giannis, part of it is because he plays today and there's more media
True.
coverage. He definitely has more coverage as a superstar than Hakeem did.
For now, yeah.
I'll say that. I just don't think of Giannis when I think of 34.
Okay.
That's crazy.
Number 3.
Dwayne
D
Wade.
Wade.
Yeah,
Easy.
Dwayne Wade.
Yeah.
That's my number 3.
It's like, in my mind, it should have been someone like Chris Paul, but because of all the disappointments, and he's been to the finals once.
0 rings.
Yeah, exactly.
A guy like me thinks of Anthony Davis.
You're a
Fuck
sick
out of
guy.
here. You're a sick brother. You're a sick guy.
Nobody ever thinks
You're a
about
sick
that.
guy. Don't invite him ever again. Stay at home.
Guy like me. Shut up.
Anthony Davis.
I definitely thought of D-Wade. Number 00.
See, that's very hard.
Has Lillard worn 00s?
No.
Or is he? Oh,
Off the top of my Melo when he was with the Blazers.
I thought of Aaron Gordon.
Yeah. 00 is a nasty number.
It is disgusting. It
Aaron
does
Gordon
not
did
look
wear
good
that in
ever.
Orlando. You're right.
He did. He just changed it. Oh, no, he never wore it for Denver, did he?
No,
Or did
I
he?
think
No.
he just.
What did
wore-
he changed his number this year? What did he wear before this year?
50.
50. That's what he changed. Okay.
What the fuck, Aaron?
Yeah. In Orlando, he wore 00.
Yeah.
Okay, it's fine.
But yeah, I'm going Melo, Blazers Melo.
Okay. Yeah, I have no thoughts when it comes
No,
to
that's
00.
sick. It's nasty. I get it.
Blazers Melo versus Magic Aaron Gordon.
Yeah, no.
Don't act
that's-
like Magic Aaron Gordon is like some all-time player.
No, that's what I'm saying. They are both hilarious pulls.
Oh, okay.
Like, that's the best
I
way to
thought
think
you were
of.
making fun of me. I was like,
No, it was just like this. The number is in the pits. Number 7,
Carmelo in New York.
Kevin Durant.
Oh yeah, he
That's-
did wear 7
that's
in
interesting.
Brooklyn.
Kevin Durant, Brooklyn.
Yeah, I think of Melo. I think of Melo immediately.
That's so interesting because it only lasted like 2.5 years.
Yeah, I don't know why. It pops in my head. It was an extremely memorable few years. So it's fresh. A lot of carnage in those few years.
Yeah, I think of Melo as well.
I think of KD because it was such a big deal that he changed to 7. That it was like, so memorable because it was, what? He's number 35. What do you mean he switched?
Yeah,
What is he wear now? Is he back 35?
I think he's 38. 35.
I have the worst recollection of numbers ever.
Same.
I do not pay attention to numbers whatsoever.
It's the most irrelevant part to the game.
But
to
most
me
people
for
like
some reason.
do, and I do not at all.
Yeah, unless they're wildly ugly, then it screams.
Number 11,
Trae Young.
Kyrie Irving.
Klay Thompson.
Interesting. See, I can see that.
I cheated. Is a Klay Thompson poster behind you?
Yeah, I think it's the it's the same thing. Like Kyrie changing his number from 2 to 11, and the fact that it's like that's been his number. That's been something for me where I was like, oh, that's different now. So I've always like paid attention to it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think most people would probably say Clay though, simply because of the history behind it and how we just had the craziest games imaginable with that jersey on his face.
Okay.
On his back.
Next thing we're gonna do,
Brunson.
We're gonna put a
He's
blind
11.
tier list.
Oh yeah, he's 11.
Yeah, it's weird.
I never know
with Brunson. I'm kind of the same way where I've never like noticed his number or like thought about him in the context of like one of the greatest to ever wear like 11 or anything like that. It's literally just like Brunson, Nick, and like that's it.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to fill out a blind tier list. We're going back to hoopgo.com. Haven't
Shout
been on the
out.
site in a long time. We don't know the category. All we know is with the player in front of us, we're going to put them into this blind tier list. First name up, Rudy Gobert.
This is the worst name to start with.
You don't know where we're going after this.
Because
It's so tough.
it's either great centers, in which he's the last tier, or it's defenders, and he's at the top.
Sounds like we should be safe and put him in tier 3 to start.
I agree. I mean, it's defensive. He has like 4 DPOYs,
Yeah.
I believe.
Tier 3, there's enough other guys in tier 3 that we won't feel horrible about it if we have to put people better than him there.
All right,
exactly.
let's
we
go.
we could definitely argue about it for sure.
Next up, Kevin Garnett.
Okay, well, it
damn.
looks like we're going big man. He can't be in the same tier as Rudy Gobert.
He can't, but what if there's like Shaq, Hakeem, Wilt?
I'm sorry. He just can't be in the same tier as
You're going to have to put somebody good in the same tier as Gobert and regret it.
Okay, I'll put Wilt there.
Okay, Kevin Garnett.
Oh, wait. I kind of lean with you. I think it's more defensible.
Of course
if
you do. Take his-
KG
Kevin Garnett, tier
is on
2.
tier 2.
Go over there,
All right.
Meta World Peace. See, it is defenders.
dummy.
Okay.
So if it is elite defenders, what we're seeing, don't know yet. Meta World Peace is tier 3 or tier 4? Probably
I
tier
think
4.
he's tier 4.
It's probably safer to go tier 4 and save those spots in tier 3.
For bigs,
Yeah. And we also don't know if it's only defenders.
but he's also a monster.
He is also scary. So there's that. But tier 4, definitely.
Fine.
I think he's tier
Fine.
Gary Payton.
4.
Ooh, okay.
man.
So he's probably closer to Kevin Garnett than Rudy Gobert, but I do want to save tier 2, so I think tier 3.
We can do that and just say it's positional attacks and just be like, listen, you're great, but you're also a guard. So
No, listen, he's the best of this tier, but I don't think he's in the same tier as Kevin Garnett. Though he's not far off. Prime Gary Payton is underrated, but Kevin Garnett.
Didn't he
come on.
win a DPOY as well?
I can't remember.
I'm pretty sure he did, yes.
Yeah, I think it was MJ.
But I
him,
think tier
and
3 is good.
Marcus Smart.
You guys
So,
agree?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I'll do that.
Michael Jordan, tier 4. There we go.
Yeah, he's not Gobert. He's not Gary Payton.
Like he doesn't have 4 DPOIs. He just doesn't.
Doesn't.
It's simply a fact. He
Tier
does not.
4.
Tier
He-
4.
Listen, he might not be Meta World Peace.
Giannis Antetokounmpo. See, that's why we save the tier 2 spot. That's why we do. That's why we don't put Gary Payton there.
Wait,
He's-
you put Mike in tier 1.
Yeah, I thought he was tier 4.
Oops.
Okay.
Giannis is obviously tier 2, right?
Yeah, he won a
Yeah.
DPOY and an MVP in the same year. Incredibly tough to do.
Joakim Noah,
Tier 4.
tier 4.
Damn.
We only have one spot left in tier 3. We got to be safe.
Oh, hell yeah. Put him
Tier
Don't
4,
even say his name.
Marcus
Let's put him
Smart.
there.
Tier
Put him
4. Ben Wallace. That's
That's tier 3.
Three.
the closest you can get to Rudy Gobert. They're damn near the same player. Tier 3 feels fair to me.
I agree.
Ben Wallace is just, he's Rudy Gobert, but like people like him.
Yeah,
he's
he's
Gobert, but he's
American.
cooler, more
Yeah.
mad, more angry. I like him.
It's crazy because Gobert has a higher free throw percentage than Ben Wallace.
But he has a way lower dog percentage.
That is true.
And last but not least, David Robinson, tier 4. Fuck me.
Damn.
Well, see, mentally, I know that Michael Jordan is in tier 4 and David Robinson is up top. So it is what it is.
We should have put Ben Wallace in tier 4. I kind of considered it, but I was like, we'll be fine.
Nah,
We were not fine.
I'm fine with Ben Wallace because Rudy Gobert is there. We need someone to level that playing field.
I'm not fine with David Robinson tier 4.
I'm not fine with that either, but goddamn, MJ's that one, so it's like
Honestly, if you flip Ben Wallace and David Robinson, we did a perfect job. We were very close to perfect.
Did we? No.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan had 1?
So are you doing it off of just defense? Is that why you keep saying that?
Yeah, isn't
this
that
is
what we're doing
defenders,
here?
right?
No, they're just players. And they're just players.
I was operating like it was just defenders.
No, these are great defenders, but we're gauging them as players.
See, I was gauging them as just
No. I mean, overall, it still worked out. Like,
Okay.
if you flip David Robinson and Ben Wallace, it's absolutely perfect.
From that aspect, yeah, it's fine.
I mean, I guess, yeah, I think Gobert probably deserves to be above Ben Wallace. But if you want to flip them, flip one of those no offense having motherfuckers with David Robinson, and it's a perfect list.
Don't disrespect Joakim Noah, man.
He's,
Forces back in like 2012.
He's perfectly fine where he
Listen,
is.
4
Missing-
triple doubles. Led the league.
History.
He was different.
MVP ballot Joakim Noah. Don't play with his name.
Talk to me.
Okay. Last thing we're going to do today. I'm going to name 2 NBA players. You let me know who is more fun to watch. Just off of how fun they are to watch.
Okay. Straight entertainment.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander or Tyrese Halliburton?
I told you guys an hour ago. That was the last good thing I'm going to say about Tyrese Halliburton. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is more fun to watch.
Yeah, I agree. I don't have a problem with the free throws. I love watching a mid-range
His shot looks
mastermind.
better.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it does, but Tyrese Halliburton just feels so he feels so goofy watching him play basketball sometimes because his shot is unorthodox, his bag work is unorthodox. It's just sometimes like funny and also wildly like how the fuck every time he shoots the ball, I say how the fuck did that go in?
And that makes it pretty fun, though.
Exactly.
Tyrese Halliburton is extremely fun to watch. I'm going to go with the MVP. I love watching one of the best scorers at his peak.
Tyrese Halliburton's my vote, but that's because I'm into a different type of fun.
Okay. You on some different shit?
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So I'm on a
I
different
just don't
wavelength.
expect y'all to understand.
Okay. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander or Joel Embiid?
I'm going to go Shai because yes, you can look at both of them and be like, oh, they're foul baiting. I hate it less when it's the 6'5" dude rather than the 7'1" dude.
You'd rather watch a small guy fall than a big guy fall?
Yes.
Okay.
But seeing Joel Embiid get off his bag work at that fucking size at times is incredible.
Yeah,
rare.
but does he aura farm like Shai aura farms?
Joel Embiid's not really into oral farm.
I know.
like
That's a difference.
He doesn't tell his teammates to shut up. Oh, I got to watch the post-game interviews with Shai. So, yeah, you're right. I'm going to leave Shai.
Shai or Jason Tatum?
It's
Shai.
Shai. It's Shai. I
Yeah.
paused just because, we being nice. But, no, it's Shai.
It's cool seeing Tatum defend fives and rebound and
You don't like
pass
ethical
the
hoops?
ball, whatever.
You don't like doing the small things, doing the role player skills, putting your face in the dirt and doing what's necessary?
I will say, when Tatum is going off and it's not against your team, hey, listen, sometimes that step back three, when the step back three is falling, you're like, you got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got it. But, sometimes it don't be falling.
A lot of times it'll be falling.
So I'm going to go with Shai.
Shai or Jalen Brunson?
It's Jalen Brunson.
What the fuck? It's not.
Hey, if someone looks at Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and says, I don't like him, he flops too much. I got a guy in New York for you. If you pay a little bit of attention, you might hate him too.
That brother he took someone else's hand and hit himself with it.
Yeah.
That's so embarrassing.
Jalen Brunson.
If we're going flop for flop, Shai is not the biggest offender in this comparison.
Jalen Brunson, first of all, he might be.
No, Jalen Brunson's way worse.
He's so much worse.
Jalen Brunson is a fake 6'3" and is the king of New York and is out here dropping 40, dropping 30, getting to his spots. You don't like footwork. I see that.
I also don't like watching him kick his neck
fade.
back and do
Your
somersaults
star
on the court.
player is Trae Young.
So?
They changed the rules because he was committing.
What is that, Adelman?
Sounds
Why is he-
historic.
He's attacking Trae Young.
What does it got to do with anything?
He said, I know your ass ain't laughing.
What I got to do with anything?
I know your bitch ass started not talking.
100%. Because they changed the rules.
I know a Trae Young fan
Yeah,
is
he
talking to
changed
me.
the rule. What does that have to do with Shai being better?
Because you were saying that you don't like watching it.
I didn't say I don't like watching somersaults compared to Shai. That's what it is.
All I know is that Jalen Brunson be out here doing stuff, undersized, getting to his spots, scoring in every which way, floater, step back, threes, getting to the free throw line, showing off his all-around efficiency. I'm going with Jalen Brunson.
If only there was an MVP guard who did all those things and won 68 games because of it. If only. And if only he was also nice at defense.
Yeah.
Maybe that'd be fun.
I never seen Jalen Brunson go ahead and get a block from behind, pin it against the backboard.
The blackboard?
He's never done that.
Yeah, speak properly.
It's Shai. What are we doing?
And with that being said, that's the end of this episode. If people are still here, what should they comment?
What should they comment?
Shout out to Meredith.
Shout out to Meredith. Shout out to Michael Penix.
All right.
Michael Penix.
And we'll see y'all next week.